Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Longplay Club for Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. My name's Christian Buckley. I'm your host, codename Scorpion, joined as always, once again, after a brief, AWOL? You know, that's what we did. We went AWOL. That's a military term. Jack Martin, codename Eagle. How you doing?
Very good. Very excited to talk about the best Metal Gear Solid game.
Say it, King.
Am I serious about that?
Say
I
it,
don't
King.
know. We'll find out.
We'll see. We'll see. Joining us as well, you heard him applaud. Kevin Diaz, codename Scorpion. How are you?
Diamond Dogs. Doing good. That was
good.
That was bad.
That was good.
That was bad.
That was pretty good.
No. Stop it, guys. That was bad. That was bad. Next time I'll work on it.
Mhm.
We'll work on it. But how we doing? Pleasure to be here. It's been too long since the boys have came together, assembled,
Mhm.
if you will. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about that. I hear you guys did some EA shit a few minutes ago.
Oh, hey. I mean, I assumed that you got an open invite. I don't know.
It's all right.
I'm not the purveyor of said event, if you will. I kind of just stumble in here. You know what I'm saying, Omar?
I'm just putting someone on the spot. It's okay.
I
really mind
saw
too much.
I saw you were offline on
Right.
Discord. I didn't want to
Right.
disturb your sleep because
Yeah,
I knew
I
this
very
was
much
going
was
to be a big
asleep.
recording. Okay. Rounding out the panel, Omar Nakvi, codename Pig.
What's up? Hey, oh fuck that! I forgot all about that shit.
I'm so sorry.
Literally, I think what happened last time. Last time it was some holiday too, and I think like yesterday was Eid.
Yeah.
And still,
Happy.
once again,
Mhm.
disrespectful to Kojima. But yeah, hello. It's good to be back. I like Metal Gear Solid 5 a lot. I'm excited to talk about it.
So before we dive in, I think as we normally did at the start of most Metal Gear Solid playthroughs, we should go around, say our history with the specific game. Then we'll get more in the weeds. Of course, rank. Kevin, we will save you for last because you have no history with MGS5 other than some sort of semblance of a reception the game had, so we can get to that and lead into the game. But Jack, kick us off. Your history with Metal Gear Solid 5, briefly, what is it like?
Yeah, so I guess if we're including Ground Zeroes, this would be like my second Metal Gear that I was like there for the launch of. Got it when it came out, and it was right about the time I entered college, so it was a really bad time to start this particular Metal Gear
Mhm.
because it's just so split up, like mission based, and it's very long. It's like 50 hours. At least that's how long it took me this go around. So I played through it like my first semester of college, and it took me like that whole semester to finish it. And then it took me a couple more years to realize that there was an actual final ending to this game. So that's my history with this game. I love it to death. I platinumed it. I think this is my first Metal Gear Solid platinum. It's a lot. I had a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah.
I'm so shocked.
But yeah, I adore this game. I love this game so much.
Excellent. Omar, I think you and I, this is a game that I think we both were excited for in tandem, like, because I think, got me into Metal Gear in terms of, like, actually following along with it, I think, around early high school, and this was, like, the first Metal Gear that I remember, like, talking to you about. What's your history with Metal Gear Solid 5? Because I think ours is pretty similar.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this in the Ground Zeroes episode, but I remember like Ground Zeroes getting announced the day that we were being like in high school orientation.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess this then came out in the last year of our high school when we were seniors. But yeah, no, when I played Metal Gear Solid 4, that was basically like after it came out, and I had seen trailers before it was coming out, but this was really the first time I followed like the whole the whole Kojima crazy hype cycle shit,
Mm-hmm.
which was like maybe the most fun part about these games sometimes is that fun cycle where the trailers coming out. I definitely remember talking to you, Christian, like randomly at like gym badminton or something whenever that was happening about
Yeah.
this game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really it. I bought it at launch as well, and I ended up marathoning it in about like 6 days or something like that, which was a good time.
For me, Metal Gear Solid 5, not Peace Walker, Phantom Pain was my first.
But it is.
It is. You're right. Yeah. Phantom Pain is the first one I was there for. It's the first one I played at launch. It is. I've said the story a million times, but this is the game that got me to play through all the ones besides 1. So the week leading up to Metal Gear Solid 5 for me was MGS2, MGS3, watching Peace Walker, watching 4. So that was an experience. And then when I did get 5 was like in 2015, I split it up in my mind into a bunch of different games. Like spring was Witcher, summer was Batman, fall was MGS5, and then like December holiday time was Fallout 4. So like Metal Gear Solid 5 like it just defines 2015 for me alongside those other titles. And it's a great game. It was my first experience with Kojima beyond the PS1, in terms of that hype cycle, because I wasn't really aware of him before, I think 2010 maybe, but yeah, for sure I remember being there and like seeing the Keighley stuff we talked about with Ground Zeroes, but here specifically it was an exciting launch, and it was a game I loved and I put a ton of time into, and I still look at it fondly. And I still think it does things better than the rest of the series, but we'll see how far that gets it today. So
This was an absurd cycle too. Like, I don't know if we should talk about that now or after, but oh my god, it was fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like in terms of hype, like there was some stupid shit on the internet. With this game.
Well,
Really?
Kevin,
Yeah.
I'm curious for you with your history of this game. We can get into that in just a sec, Omar. But for Kevin, I imagine most of your history is that type of awareness, right? Like the social media buzz of 5. So like, what was your experience like with this game?
Yeah, like I knew back in 2015 that MGS5 was a big deal, right? Like, but it was one of those things where it's like I have no connection at that point in 2015. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of just observed from an outside perspective. But I do remember a lot of buzz around this game, a lot of hype around this game, and I don't remember quite like after the game's launch the talk about that. I just do know that there was a lot of talk about the fallout between Konami and Kojima, and I had no idea that it affected the game itself until I played it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got from like a history standpoint with MGS5. Yeah,
Solid. So,
Yep.
I guess like the game did earn itself a reputation before launch and post-launch as well, which we can get into the post-launch stuff later. But Omar, is there anything specific that like stands out to you as like one of your earliest memories for Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, online speculation discourse?
There were some crazy theories about Quiet before launch. I don't know if you remember any of them.
I don't.
I don't really know if I want to talk about them, to be honest. But
are they
Man.
like bad? Like, are they like bad in like a
I
inappropriate
think-
way, or just?
I
like-
think they're kind of bad. To be honest, I think the internet sometimes, when they get into speculation mode, doesn't know like how far they can go or how far should they go.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people were trying to justify why there was like this very naked lady in the game before launch.
Mm-hmm.
Kojima was trying to justify that.
Yes, that tweet is so funny. That was really the one I really remember the most. But then the Ground Zero stuff we mentioned, where like there was that guy that was like maybe CG or maybe real, Joaquin Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, like people thought that was a Fox engine. Like they thought that man was a Fox engine test, but he was just a real person in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Just stuff like that, really. And then there's also the Konami fallout later, but which is its own mess. But I think we'll probably talk about that afterwards, probably, or
Sure,
later
yeah.
on.
Later for sure.
Can I show this picture really quick that
Go
I'm
for
really
it.
proud of?
Yeah.
Because it was a really fun time. I used to post on this forum called NeoGaf. Don't go there now. It sucks. But it was really fun in 2015. Well, it wasn't, but I was still posting there. But, do you see that? Sorry. If I go here, you guys see this picture I have on the monitor?
Yes.
Okay. It says, thanks to the players at NeoGaf for this amazing present. And the guy who ran the Metal Gear Solid community thread made a little like portrait of all of our avatars or form avatars together, and I'm here somewhere.
Whoa.
Yeah. See, have you ever seen me with this avatar before? I don't know if that makes sense. Is that kid
Yeah,
with the red? Yeah.
Oh.
You ever seen me with that? It's all there.
that's awesome.
Wow.
I always thought it was cool. Really nice of that guy to do that.
And
Kojima
I'm
owns
sure
your digital
Kojima
presence.
looked at yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he
Kojima
looked
looked at
at
that
each
avatar?
individual one.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
Took
sure.
the time.
He didn't just throw that away immediately.
yeah,
Yeah.
I hope.
Mhm.
I think it's cool.
yeah.
really
That's
cool.
neat. Because I'm glad you bring that up because I think 5, at least on the outside, as a new fan at the time, like 5 seemed like such a huge deal because even before the Fallout, I do remember the build up to this game. Like, did we know at the time, Jack or Omar, like, did we know that this was going to be the final Metal Gear Solid game?
No,
I don't think we did.
definitely. Yeah, I don't think it was intended to be that way. To be
Well,
honest, either.
It was probably the final Metal Gear game, as every Metal Gear is the final Metal Gear game.
Right.
Okay, fair.
The thing that stuck out to me in terms of like the marketing hype cycle was this showed up at the Xbox E3, and for Metal Gear being more so a traditional PlayStation game, I thought that was really interesting to me that this game was marketed as like cross-platform and like on the Xbox stage. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
hmm
Do you remember Rising actually got unveiled in the Xbox show too?
Oh, that's cool.
Which, yeah, I think was like because they couldn't get Xbox couldn't get Metal Gear Solid 4.
Mhm.
I think that was their way, but then that ended up not happening with Rising 2 because that came out multi-platform. And I guess I kind of figured like, oh, this was probably Kojima throwing them a bone or something
Yeah.
after, yeah.
Nice.
But that was an amazing trailer though. That Xbox one, that like the 9-minute one or the first gameplay where they showed like you can go on the horse and they had that fast forward stuff. Yeah,
That's what it was.
The Metal Gear Solid 5 trailers are maybe Kojima's best work yet. I think they're so good.
Yeah, there's some really, really great ones. Like, I remember there were some pretty spoilery ones very close to launch, but
Yeah,
I do for sure remember hitting media blackout at one point, and the day it all started when we all got our copy. Did we all play at launch, Jack?
yeah.
Omar?
Yeah, I believe. Was it in August? Did it come out like
It was
September.
in September.
Oh,
Early
okay.
September.
Because I remember playing it like maybe like I remember playing it at home. Maybe it was like during Labor Day weekend, but I remember it was like right during my first semester of school, and I was like, I have no time to play this game,
hmm
and I really wanted to, so I like played it like very intermittently like throughout the semester, and it's just like not a
Yeah.
good way to play this game because I was like, what
Yeah.
the fuck is happening?
I want to say it was September 8th because I remember going to Best Buy, getting that and a copy of Mad Max Fury Road, and then going home. Because I think it came out the same day,
Right.
but
Same exact day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
good day.
I remember I was working at Target at the time. It was like my first job, and I had just got the job. I don't know. The game came out. I had it on PSN digital. Played it at midnight. Then I had to go to school. Then I had to do a shift as well. So I just stayed up the whole day. I think
hmm
from playing Metal Gear Solid 5, and I was really concerned that someone would spoil the game for me before I finished it,
Yeah.
which would have sucked. But it didn't happen, thankfully.
Yeah.
Also, can I read this Kojima tweet that he put out about the trailers? I think
Please.
you all saw it, but
Yeah.
I'd like to say it out loud.
Please do.
This is from July 15th, 2021. I reviewed the trailers I've done in the past. I had to say it's all well done. Lol. It's one of the best tweets.
That's very good. So, why don't we get into a little bit about Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, or Metal Gear Solid V, The Phantom Pain, as we can maybe talk about a little later. But specifically with this game, the way it introduces the world. Omar, how are you feeling about the intro?
Sorry, just you said V. Like, remember the V has come to stuff in every trailer?
Yeah.
V has come to. Like,
Mhm.
what? No one knew what that meant beforehand.
Yeah.
And I think people couldn't figure it out. But sorry, you're saying what did I think of the intro?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening? The intro is so fucking good, I think. I don't know.
Mhm.
I remember seeing that shit and being like, oh my god, I'm blown away. I think Kojima always tries to make a movie, but I think he was the most successful in that sequence, like maybe ever.
Mhm.
In terms of make a pretty cool 90-minute action movie.
Yeah.
I think it's plus it was that trailer too, right? The first trailer we saw for that game was this, basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do get a bit more context going into this one for sure, because we see the fallout of Ground Zeroes. We get to see the immediate after math of that and see what happens with Big Boss, right? So, Kevin, you're greeted early on in this game. You see a mirror and you have to create a character. What were you thinking when you saw that?
Yeah, at that point, I had a little freak out moment. It's happened a few times in Metal Gear Solid where it's like, wait, I don't want to fuck up my playthrough.
Right.
So like, I was like, wait a minute, I had never seen any gameplay that wasn't Snake, clearly. So I thought that I was gonna have just a dude that looked like me throughout the entire game, but lo and behold, not the case. It's, I guess, how everyone else views you in the game's world, but you as a player still see Snake, but they somehow reconstructed Snake's face to look different, right? That's, I think, the in-game, in-story, in-world like explanation for it. And I guess it's for online as well, which I did not touch Metal Gear Online.
I thought they just see Snake, right?
Yeah.
Everyone,
Yeah.
I think we were all desperately trying to fuck with you in the chat to make sure you didn't figure it out.
Yeah. That's
But
why we were
I'm not
saying
even
that.
sure if that's even the multiplayer profile. Like,
I think
Wait, everyone sees Snake still?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we repeat the same
Okay.
sequence, so we should just all talk about it here, and we can talk
Yeah.
about the reveal whenever. But you, as your player character, you don't know this until the end, but you are a injured member of Outer Heaven Mother Base from Ground Zeroes and Peace Walker.
Fuck
You show up in this hospital bed. You have to create a character. This is like a weird out of body sort of thing. Like, this doesn't really happen. Like, you're not creating a character. The character you create is the person you start the game as first person wise when you're seeing like everything from the hospital bed.
Yeah.
You're that person. You looked like that before the explosion happened.
Right.
And your roommate in the hospital is real Big Boss. So, and it was like that since the beginning. The thing is, for his safety and security, because Mother Base was attacked to get to him because of Zero, you, as an agent of Military Without Borders, whatever, get plastic surgery to make you look like Big Boss, so you can operate in his stead as like a body double, as a shield. So the next time somebody tries to kill Big Boss, if they're successful, they kill you, not actual Big Boss. He's out in hiding.
Incredible.
what a weird use case for someone to need a fake Big Boss to kill.
Well, it's very weird how this was like the answer to Metal Gear 1. Like, this is the bridge from
Yeah, please explain
from
that, Jack.
where we get to the past to Metal Gear 1.
Yeah. So, can you like sort of set up, because I know like Kevin doesn't have a huge history with MGS1, or sorry, Metal Gear 1 and 2. Like, why? It's funny that this game exists to be an answer to these two games that nobody really cares for. Like,
Yeah.
can you go into the story and explanation a little bit of like why this exists?
Yeah. So in Metal Gear 1, you as Solid Snake, this is like the MSX games, go to I believe it's Outer Heaven, and at the end of the game you kill Big Boss. You thought that you were originally working under Big Boss as your leader, and then you find out he's the bad guy all along and you kill him. And then in Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, you go to Zanzibar Land and you kill like the resurrected corpse of Big Boss. Turns out in Metal Gear 1, Big Boss was just Venom Snake, like this resurrected or this like rechanged helicopter pilot. And then in Metal Gear 2, that was just Big Boss, and you kill him anyways. So the answer, in my opinion, is really stupid. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of just all about the reveal, but that's like the canonical answer. It's really silly.
It closes the loop, though.
It does.
We got our final answer,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely dumb.
Honest-
You go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, honestly, like, it kind of strips the character arc of Big Boss away, like, entirely, because I feel like a lot of people were like, well, how do we get from Metal Gear Solid 3 Big Boss to Metal Gear 1 Big Boss in terms of him becoming a villain of sorts? And we don't. We really don't.
Well, I feel like that's a hard problem, or like not even. I don't know if you guys played the new Tomb Raider games, like the new trilogy, but every time they would show one of those games, Square Enix would be like, and this is the story of how Lara Croft becomes a Tomb Raider. They said it for the first game, they said it for the second game, they said it for the third game. And I feel like that was the same case with like Peace Walker as well, and then this. Like they just kept saying it, but I don't know if they knew where to go, or like it's funny that Ground Zero is the only time you play as Big Boss. Like that's the real Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
Like
Holy shit.
That's not well, kind of, but like in terms of the loop thing, I do wonder if like, because this does like, fill in that one question that a lot of people were kind of curious about. Do you think like Metal Gear Solid 6 would have been that remake of Metal Gear 1 and 2?
I hope, because like I think where we're going with 5, and we can get to this later, but like I think it leaves off with the cut content in a portion where it's like, hey, this tees up another story that would actually close the loop, because here I think it's closing the loop in a way nobody asked for, of like, why are there two Big Bosses? Not like, man, I'd love to see Solid Snake meet Big Boss for the first time. Like that I think would be fully closing the loop, not just like, hey, yeah, it's the reason there's two of them, that they both die, and Eli. Like I feel like that's like a retroactive, it was the closing of the loop because we didn't get any more. It's like the closest they could have gotten.
You're very right, but I feel like that's very Kojima, right? In terms of what he's done so far, and like filling in questions you don't really need answers to, or you don't really care about anymore.
Yeah.
Or like, I think I remember the theory for this game. My favorite theory before it was coming out was that like, you're building up Mother Base, right? And like maybe like once you build up your Mother Base, then you get to play as Snake. Oh shit. You get to then become Snake and take down Big Boss in the game itself. That didn't happen, but that would have been so cool.
Yeah, that would have been very, very cool. As is a lot of what did not happen with this game, which we can get to. But
sorry.
As far as the intro goes, I think it's a pretty solid introduction outside of the initial weird moment for you, Kevin, with making a character. Going through the hospital, slowly getting your bearings. Was it mostly like tense? Did you enjoy that set piece, or was it? Yeah, you're into that.
Yeah. No, it was a really strong intro. I really, 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 really enjoyed it. Yeah, and like I'm. Do you guys like the prospect of going through that intro in its full entirety again for the true ending? Because
definitely not. Yeah.
I'm like low key on the fence about like I think I could have done like a little bit less. Like maybe I'm not sure what's a good insert point other than the beginning, but I think we could have done that a little bit better. You know what I'm saying?
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
Or I would say have us play as Snake. Like real Snake in the second Trinic scenario. Like I think that would have been kind of cool. As, maybe like Ishmael. A little bit too on the nose, but yeah, as Ishmael, yeah, absolutely, maybe, but yeah, no, like but like I did think it was really cool when you pick up that little change in the true ending when they show you your face and it's not your creative character, it's Big Boss. That wasn't like that in the first intro, so I thought that was really cool. Just like that little tiny change that tees off, and then we go on to the true ending. But yeah, no, I think as a whole, I think the intro is super brutal. I question why they felt the need to like kill everyone in the hospital, right? Like, if you're just looking for Snake, I mean, I don't know. I get it, like they're like bad guys, and like we gotta make them a threat, other than just like them like sneaking in, right? So I guess that's how you do it. I also question if Emma wants to fill in. Quiet, she's clearly there, right?
Yeah, that's revealed at the end. She was the attempt of the assassination.
Yeah. how does she get powers? Like, do we know that story? Is that
Nano
told ever?
machines.
Is that ever told?
So
Um,
I think
Probably
it
in a
is...
tape at some point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I remembered an answer. I think like, doesn't she get like, Ish like throws a chemical on her and she starts burning, right?
Yeah.
I think it's implied through either a document in the game or something like that that created some reaction with her physiology that gave her these powers. I think teeing that up with the virus also, like, I think it's something like that. I didn't encounter an explanation, but I do remember that from years ago. I think that is the sort of explanation of why she has powers. I don't think she always had powers. She was just a special forces operative sent to kill Big Boss. But
I think you mentioning that, like, did they have to kill everyone is a good point, because I feel like this is Kojima getting, like, as the games go on, he gets more and more self-serious with some of this stuff. And, like, I got some issues with the tone of this game and Ground Zeroes, more so Ground Zeroes, but this game, that intro sequence is kind of dark, but I do love that whale, so I'm of two minds of it. I mean, that's a funny moment.
I forgot that the whale made it into. I thought that was just the silly like Moby Dick Studios thing. I forgot that was completely in this game. I almost suggested like, oh, we should read Moby Dick as required reading because Ishmael, Ahab, all that sort of stuff. Pequod even.
yeah.
But I love how this intro just to me shows that Kojima really wanted to make a horror game in Silent Hill or Silent Hills. Because this is just like a horror sequence, and like a lot of stuff in Metal Gear Solid 5 is very much like a horror sequence, including like the you can find like a voiceover of the dude from PT in this game, like on the phone, which I think is really cool. But
Surprised Konami didn't patch that out. I feel like they probably would have.
I know it. I love this game. The opening to this game. It's very. I do appreciate how gruesome it is. I love how it's a good, like combination of like being very grounded, but also having like the, fantastical elements of like Man on Fire and it's like a young Psycho Mantis who just happened to crash his plane right next to this hospital. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
That part where you're like under the beds or something, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, the part in the bed is
Yeah.
really terrible. Yeah, that was cool. Definitely.
Yeah. It's go ahead, Kevin.
No, the one that honestly like took me out of it a little bit is when Ishmael pees when they have to lay down and play dead. Like I was like, okay, like do we like okay, all right.
It's like
you know what I'm saying, okay, but like
it's like R2-D2 in every Star Wars. You gotta have someone being in a Metal Gear game.
I suppose you're right. I suppose.
That's your big boss right there. Yeah, he had to hold up his cover. You know, he had to not give it away.
You're right.
Big boss wouldn't piss himself. Ishmael
never.
I want to say that character creator moment, though, I do think is fantastic. I think when that came out, everyone was like, what the fuck is this? I think people did rush to forums quickly being like, how do I progress? Just like you did, Kevin. And like, I remember actually like listening to podcasts around the time, and I was listening to a Giant Bomb podcast, and a guy who didn't care about Metal Gear, but like looked at his coworker playing it and saw a character creator and was like, what the fuck? Like, it was really baffling to everyone. But yeah, I think it's a cool moment. So to mention something else. Oh yeah, like Kiefer Sutherland's Ishmael, right? Like that was their pre-release. People had theories about that. Like, I think we just assumed it was a Big Boss hallucinating. But I've also seen a playthrough where like someone guesses the ending because Kiefer Sutherland's right there.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like,
That's interesting because when I was replaying Ground Zeroes, I was like listening to the helicopter pilot's voice, Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, it's like very muted. Like we have to do the surgery, but it's like that's Kiefer Sutherland doing the voice for.
Was it the helicopter pilot or was it the medic?
The like medic.
The medic that becomes Venom Snake is voiced by Kiefer Sutherland in the helicopter. But like, holy shit, it's you could tell it's him, but at the time when you're playing it, you can't really couldn't really get it. But I was
if you're not like looking for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's so cool that you get like all the details about all that stuff, but most people can't put it together till the ending, right?
Yeah. I thought I had like a reasoning when I first played the intro, like, oh, like why would they use his voice twice, and like why would he be talking to himself? I forget what I made sense of it. I can honestly see me just being like, hey, this is a Metal Gear Solid game, you know? So there's going to be some shit that probably doesn't make sense or probably make sense later. That's probably what I said. But yeah, crazy.
It's
My
a Victor
favorite
Reznov situation.
Yeah. It very much is. Definitely.
I was gonna say my favorite was just like budget constraints with this game.
Right. It could be that. It could be that.
So
Also, shout out to Yuri Lowenthal's performance in this intro.
Yeah.
You know?
Who was
Yeah.
he?
He's the
Someone
dude that
being
gets
murdered.
like brutally murdered in the head. Just, like, brutal.
Awful. It's like listening to Spider-Man just get like
I
annihilated.
know. It's like, holy shit, Spider-Man just died. Holy shit.
It's really sad.
So, after the entire intro sequence, which is very strong, I think we all agree, this is where the game starts to introduce what's different about it as opposed to Ground Zeroes, because the intro is very linear. I don't think Ground Zeroes is, but it is definitely constrained, where it has much more of a focus, where a lot of the open world, I wouldn't say lacks focus, but it does feel like you have way more options, no real proper direction. Like, you can kind of do what you want to navigate to get your objective in the open world, which is the distinction, I think, between Ground Zeroes and this, even though you do have a lot of leeway in Ground Zeroes. This is way more all out. This is planning. This is R&D, hardcore. It is more of a natural progression of the systems of Peace Walker than Ground Zeroes was. It seems like it is a combination of Peace Walker and Ground Zeroes in a way that feels more like an evolution than Ground Zeroes does. And you kind of dive into that after this whole sequence, after you're given the code name of Venom Snake, after you meet Revolver Ocelot. And the game sort of begins there, and as it goes on and on, it's kind of not giving you a ton. It is just peeling back the layers very, very slowly, and it is very focused on the gameplay and how you navigate the world. So, go ahead, Omar.
No, how did you finish? I'm sorry.
That was how I was gonna just tee up the way the game turns into actual a game, not just the intro. So now we can talk about the game.
This is kind of why I think we had that huge, heated, fiery argument about ranking Metal Gear Solid, Ground Zeroes, and Phantom Pain as separate entries, because they are different.
Yeah, they're very different.
People on the internet, we would fight about this shit. Like, someone would just say, "Oh man," I remember one guy saying he hated Phantom Pain after loving Ground Zeroes, which was like, what? But like, I get it. It's a much different game, other than the way you interface with it. But I really love that open design of this one. I think the way you can approach any situation, like I think this game's probably influenced by Far Cry 2 in that way, in that like open world emergent systems. But then I think this game like influenced stuff like Breath of the Wild and afterwards, like in terms of how you can approach any situation and with whatever you want to do. And it's not really like a great open world per se in terms of stuff to do, but I really loved like just being in those big maps and just hanging out and
Open
running
air.
around on D-Horse. Yeah. What was open air from? Was that?
I think that was Breath of the Wild. I think that's
right,
what it was.
yeah.
Like it is an open world technically, but open air where it's like you're not constrained by anything. You can just do it how you want to do it. So
It was such a fresh idea for Metal Gear Solid 2, I think, because usually those games are, here's a story, all right, 5 minutes of gameplay, or maybe I'm being cruel, but it really gave you a new appreciation for, I think, what Metal Gear's gameplay is, and I loved it. It was like I was making my own objectives, making my own. I felt like I was the actual like big boss kind of military leader, I guess.
And that's sort of where I was bringing up the progression of Peace Walker, because like a lot of that tactical planning came from there, and the mission structure came from there as well. And here, it is blown up to a proper console level, which I think is impressive because it, like, Peace Walker definitely feels like the template for this, but this does feel like a big step up. So,
Oh yeah.
Jack, I know you have numerous occasions you've claimed that this is the best feeling, best playing game of all time. Do you feel that way after the replay?
Absolutely, yeah.
Mhm.
To this day, I still feel like this is like one of the best feeling playing third-person action games. I feel like from 2015 to 2021, it doesn't feel outdated, and I still think it has one of the best loops in any game, where you drop in, you do what you need to do, and after the end of it and throughout your progress throughout that mission or side up or whatever, you're always like improving, whether it's like getting new guys for your R&D team or whatever team you need, or getting materials to create a certain weapon or whatever, and also having everything be customizable. You can have like a helicopter theme song, you could like change the different scopes of your weapons or how strong your silencers are and things like that, and also changing out your buddies and stuff. I just feel like everything in this game is so customizable, and you can just play it in completely different ways. Where, yeah, like what Omar was saying, you're kind of dropped into a playground. And you can choose what equipment you want to play with in a way,
Mhm.
and like how you want to approach it. I think it's so cool, and it's still. I don't think anything has outclassed it yet. I feel like it's still at the top of its games in terms of stealth action or approaching an open world however you want it, and having that open world react to you, where guards will put their helmets on more if you're getting headshots, or if you're going at night, there's going to be more spotlights and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's just it feels very reactive, this game.
For sure, yeah. And I guess reactive is an interesting way to put it, because I think that is the case with many Metal Gears as well as this one, in terms of just the systems and the overall direction of it. Maybe more so still reactive to 4 the way Peace Walker was, maybe. Not necessarily reactive to Peace Walker, but Kevin, you were super hot on Peace Walker, right? And you liked what you saw of Ground Zeroes, feeling like a step up, like mechanically, in that direction. So when you saw the open world aspect of this, when you saw the planning, when you saw the mission structure compared to Ground Zeroes, this is basically Peace Walker 2. So how was it realizing that through the first few missions?
It's exactly what I wanted. I was like, okay, it would be fucking awesome if like MGS5 was like Peace Walker but just blown up, you know.
Right.
I never even thought about the open world aspect. Like I just thought it'd be just like bigger missions, you
Sure.
know, and in a way that can mean open world sandboxy type thing, but like
Right, like Ground
for it to be
Zeroes, kind of.
yeah, and like for it to be like a literal open world, I was not expecting that. I think this game is incredible. Like from a gameplay perspective, this is a 10 out of 10 gameplay perspective. I adore this game loop. I love the prospect of like, oh, okay, yeah. Let me level up my armor so I get like a sonar sensor where I can get kind of like a heads up and then like a little like picture of where people are at. Like they're gonna move from that point, but that's where people are, right? And like stuff like that. And upgrading D-Dog, you know, he's very, very helpful, definitely. And just all the buddies that you get, and even like how real this game feels. Like obviously I've never, you know, been a tactical spy in a fucking, you know, Afghanistan area, right? Like I've never done that, but like
we have.
Oh yeah, totally. But like it just like felt like even the things of like, oh here, let me call in a vehicle, right? Or let me call in support, or let me call in the helicopter, right? And that like even taking time, right? Whether it be loading or not, doesn't matter. Like it just feels like a very like cooked in like real thing that can happen. And you can make the you can upgrade the helicopter to go faster, like what Jack was saying in terms of just being able to tune everything. I love this game. The only knock in the open world I'd say is, which I know like a lot of games don't do this, and it's only a select few. Ghost of Tsushima is probably the only one that I can remember off the top of my head that does this. I wish you can pick up plants while you're on the horse. That's like a
Sure.
little side thing, but that's whatever, right? I know 2015, it just be like that sometimes. But
Realistic this way.
yeah, and like yeah, right. Totally. But I just I just love this game's gameplay, man. Like I was obsessed with it. It made it like I typically only stream for like 2-3 hours tops, right? We were going for 5 hours, like nearly every stream with MGS5. Like aside from being on a bit of a time limit because I didn't want to keep you guys waiting, but
kept you waiting. Huh?
I like it kept you waiting. I like genuinely wanted to keep playing this game.
Yeah,
like I did not want to ever stop playing MGS5. You know, and
sure.
I think like the last big point is that like you take everything I've just said, right? And there were multiple times on stream where I pull off something dope as fuck as Snake, right? And I'm like, guys, I am Snake. I am TKD Snake. And then the true ending and getting that whole thing, it was like a big like, wait, that was kind of the intent. That's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Kevin, I definitely agree with you and Jack, and I think Omar, you're on the same page of just like the game is like flawless to play.
Straight up.
It just feels incredible. I'll ask this, because I do think, like you said, that's the intent of that game, is to make it feel like you're this person in this scenario living out this lifestyle. I think the one gripe I have with the game, and I've felt this way since 2015, like, and this is part of the greater issue with the story, to me, not many of the individual missions stand out. It's mainly the ones that are tied to major moments, like the Sahelanthropus one, like the child soldiers, the Eli thing, like
a quiet intro. Oh my fucking god!
Like
quiet intro,
so
awesome.
good.
That sniper battle.
Fucking awesome. Bro.
Outside of those, I can't really name specific missions or objectives. Like I can like throw a dart at a board, and I can probably make an objective that I did, right? But like, that's not a huge problem, I don't think, because it is just so refined, plays so well. It's just, I think for Metal Gear, it is a bit upsetting that, like, yeah, I guess you're making your story the way in Breath of the Wild you have your own story of how you got through that world, but that's not one of Metal Gear's strengths. Through all these hours we've talked about Metal Gear, like, I think a good 80% of all those hours we're talking about the story, you know? And here it's like, well, yeah, I have my own path of this game. Kevin, you have yours. Like, there's moments that you will remember from things you pulled off, right? But
I know one. I know a really good one.
Yeah, like, I guess that could be tied to extract this operative, and you got a really amazing last-minute headshot in there, but, like, I think that is an issue that is just baked into the format of this game. That's not necessarily bad, because like I said, I enjoy playing it, but it is a factor in the story, I think, being as weak as it is.
Yeah. I mean, the story is just few and far between in this game.
Yeah.
And you're right, like a lot of the main, even like the main missions are, our informant has said there's a guy here that you need to extract or kill, and that's pretty much what you do. Like it is very repetitive, but the gameplay is that's the gameplay is king for this particular game. That's kind of what it's all about. But I agree. I think the thing that I noticed in terms of the story this go around was that the pacing of this game is just like garbage,
abysmal.
like absolute garbage. Especially like this is a really long game, so if you come back to it every now and then, you're just gonna be lost. That's how I felt when I first played it, and I mean, like, I understood the story a little bit better going back this time, but even after mission 31, which you get the credits for the game, it's like, oh, the game's over, and that's how I thought. I thought the game was just completely over. You get like the tee up for coming in chapter 2. It's like, what does that even mean? And you get like the extreme missions or like the subsistence missions. You have to go. Some of them you have to play, some of them you don't, and then you like finally get the ending, and then you also get the the other quarantine mission, which I think is one of the best standout like missions in this game, where you have to go and like kill everyone. I think that's great, but it's like behind. It's after the credits. It's so bizarre in terms of the pacing. Also, I realized I had to delete my original save to replay this game, or I had to like get it off my system, and so I can start a new one. They don't like you playing this game twice. I even had to carry over like my GMP and resources, which I didn't want to do. So yeah, it in terms of like, but like in terms of like pacing and stuff, it's just man, it's not good. It's not good pacing.
Yeah, and
Did you feel like?
Go ahead, Omar.
Sorry, do you feel that way during like the whole like first act 2, like the first chapter? Okay, because I feel like I
Yeah.
remember like chapter 2 is definitely like a mess in terms of pacing. Like
yeah.
that was just like I feel like it's a big ass, and the way like you got to do those like extreme missions sometimes, right? With like
Yeah, I think so. Or like side ops too, you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I did was I avoided extreme or substance just because those seemed like just like replays of other missions that we did before, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So the technique I did was in chapter 1, the main bulk of the game, I was doing only important side ops
Hmm.
and the main storyline. And then I was saving up those side ops to do like offline, and I did like a few of them offline, but not a lot. I used those to manually pass time in the game to pop the other important stuff in the second chapter, because those they kind of tell you, hey, like do these other stuff that you'll just wait till you get a call and say, okay, cool, come back to base, watch this cutscene, whatever. And there was stuff like that. So that's how I kind of like forced the game to submit to my will of just give me
Right.
just the important shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But because as far as I'm aware, the like extreme and substance stuff, that's just like the same missions, just changed in some way, or maybe you have less equipment that
Yeah.
you can use or whatever. Is that what it is? Or
yeah,
something?
Yeah,
harder than
they-
like time limit sometimes or something.
Time
The-
limit. Okay.
The extreme is just harder, and subsistence is on-site procurement. So like you drop in whatever you're wearing, you drop in with. You don't have any weapons. It's like Metal Gear Solid 1. You have to pick up all your weapons. Like
Oh, that's
on-
cool. That's cool.
it's cool. It's very difficult,
That is cool.
but it's
That's a
cool.
cool
I think there's
concept.
only like a handful that are like that. But yeah, it's definitely a different way of playing the game.
Damn. That is wild, actually. Yo, that'd be mad fun, actually, now that I think about it. Damn.
There are a lot of fun rules I think you can make for yourself in this game if you want to play it in crazy ways. Especially, I think the PC modding scene for it has gone kind of nuts too. But yeah, on the story stuff, like I remember being kind of disappointed with the story stuff in 2015 because the trailers were so sick.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was probably a bigger Metal Gear fan than I am today. But like after playing 4 and seeing all that stuff and I was pretty invested in the story and I was curious. But I think now, like, years removed, I really don't mind the direction of the story in this game. I think I'm happy they prioritized the gameplay that they did.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think Metal Gear really ran on fumes for me after 2. Like, 3 and 4, I kind of had a hard time caring about the story. And the characters I kind of got over too, that I think this one just, like, having little bits of story is interesting. But I really didn't mind. It was like a new way to enjoy Metal Gear that I think I really liked.
Yeah.
I kind of just got over the story stuff.
I think that's an interesting way to phrase it, because I think I would probably agree after playing through like 4 and Peace Walker. Like, it's cool, right? Because it is, for at least the supporting cast, you have Ocelot and Miller, right? Who I really like. Ocelot throughout this entire experience has been like maybe my second favorite character. Like, I really, really like Ocelot. So seeing him here as sort of like not a caricature of himself, but like he's there. He's not super involved. Like, he's just taking care of his own thing, the way you are as Big Boss. It's nice because you feel I feel like I was filling in like gaps kind of like, I know they're like basically brothers in arms. Like, they have this camaraderie. So like they're coworkers. They're working adjacent to each other. They have this respect, even though he's not like in the game to the extent that he would be if this was a traditional Metal Gear, right? Like, I do appreciate that aspect of it, just because of how much time you're putting into it. It is like, hey, yeah, I mean, this kind of breaks it, because like you're not really Big Boss, but like you're forming that relationship between Big Boss and Ocelot that we saw tee up in 3, and continuing that with Miller, the way that like we know it should end up in Metal Gear Solid 1, but again, it's weird because it's not really Big Boss. But like, does that carry over to the real Big Boss? I don't know.
How cool is it that Kojima said, "Fuck you, Metal Gear Solid 3 fans and Big Boss fans. Solid Snake's a real true Chad," and says you don't even get to play as Big Boss in this game. How cool is that? Isn't that awesome and highly respectable?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. How do we
Look.
feel? Oh, good. I was just gonna ask, how do we feel about Troy Baker as Ocelot in this?
He's great.
Yeah.
I think he's fantastic. Like, dude,
Guys, no, please.
really? Okay, I just want to say, like, that quote has always stuck with me. It's from that first Xbox trailer Jack mentioned. But when when Troy Baker Ocelot says, "Now go, let the legend come back to life," I thought that shit was so sick.
I really like Troy Baker's take on it. I think he's, like Ocelot. I know he has all these accents, but like he's a triple agent, quadruple agent. It would make sense that he goes into his Western thing because that's been his thing since 3, right? Like he was an American, I think, and he was undercover in Russia, whatever. So like it makes sense. His fascination with the West, the cowboy aesthetic, like I really like Troy Baker's take on it. I think it's one of his more fun performances, and I think it's like between this and Higgs, those might be like my 2 favorite Troy Baker performances. I really, really love both of these takes of these characters that he did. Jack, how do you feel?
I like it a lot too. I sometimes I kind of bag on like the industry like voice actors for just doing the same voice for everything, but I really think that Troy gives a really good performance in this role. I like how Ocelot has grown since Metal Gear Solid 3, and I do like how he's like taken sort of a role that like he was very much like even though he led a squad, he was very much like the underling in that game in terms of like the villain. But I like how he's like playing a position of like leadership on Mother Base, and just like the voice that Troy Baker provides for Ocelot is just I like to listen to. Like anytime you get the call from him, he just has a really good voice going on. So yeah, I think he does a really good job with Ocelot.
Kevin,
I gotta be the downer, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know. There's something about it, like I like the character, right? But I don't know if it like fits how I perceived Ocelot in the previous Metal Gear Solid games. There was just a big disconnect. Like it's hard for me to squint and be like, yeah, that's Ocelot. But like I still like the performance itself.
Sure.
I just think like the way it's different from Ocelot, I just don't think it meshes that well. I don't know. Like I see more of like Big Boss in MGS5 and Ground Zeroes and MGS3. I think that all flows and checks out. I think there's just a really big difference in Ocelot in MGS5 that just makes it just, at least I felt, kind of an awkward transition. But like I still liked what we got. It's just different. And I feel like it didn't like flow that well, at least personally. So like I know I'm definitely the odd one out, but like I still enjoyed the performance of it. It's just hard to like look at him like, yeah, like that's the Ocelot that was doing all the crazy shit in like MGS3, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It just didn't work for me that well.
I'm wondering if it's like which Ocelot that is like making the disconnect, right? Because like personally, I don't know if anybody else agrees with me. I think this version of Ocelot is like just 20 years removed of Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 1. Like to me, I feel like that transition is near seamless. And I think in 3 to this one, sure. But I wonder if that's because in 3 he is doing that undercover thing for the majority of the game. Because like in 3, I think Ocelot in this game is closer to Ocelot of 1 than Metal Gear Solid 3 Ocelot is to Ocelot in 1.
Okay, I highly disagree. I think MGS3 is closer to MGS1 than MGS5 is to MGS1 of Ocelot. Like, for me, it's like, okay, yeah, Ocelot, and then like MGS5 Ocelot, and then MGS1 Ocelot. That kind of like recaptures what I saw in MGS3. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm crazy. But I just feel like I got more of the like outlandish, like capital, Revolver Ocelot in MGS3 and MGS1 than in MGS5, where I just feel like he's like going through like a midlife crisis. Like that's what it feels like. I feel like he's like I feel like he's like, I don't know. It just feels like it feels like if Han Solo were to like sit down and like have a family and like sell. It's like how like I would view Han when like before he leaves Leia, right? Post episode 6, right? Where he's just doing something that's like, this isn't really you.
I mean, I
You
feel
know
like
what I'm
it is
saying?
though, because in Metal Gear Solid 1, he's basically leading that team. You know, like he's under Liquid, but he's still like commanding that team, and he has a lot of that experience of this one. Where in 3, he just kind of feels like a kid who wants to show off. You know, like I see a
I
really
feel
strong
like
connection between 5 and 1. I don't know if the rest of the panel does.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. Like that's just how I feel for it. Like I just feel MGS3 and MGS1 Ocelot are definitely closer, for sure. Like I still feel like he was still doing this thing like when he was older in Metal Gear Solid 1. You know, yeah, a leader still, but like from like a personality standpoint, I feel like he's more close with that. But let me know, Omar. Am I wrong? Please tell me I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right that it is a different kind of feel, but I think you gotta look at that and go, fuck yeah, it's time.
No,
Because like
yeah,
we
like,
always
I like it.
Yeah, no worries. I feel like we've always heard that Ocelot and Big Boss were like tight,
Yeah.
and I feel like we get to see that kind of side of here. That there's more like I feel like we're seeing a more honest Ocelot here,
Yeah.
and I'm really a big fan of it.
Yeah.
I think they flow. I think it all makes sense in the context of the series.
Well, Ocelot always knows something that no one else does.
Mhm.
And he's the one that knows Big Boss's secret in this. And he like I like how we get the sense that what all you guys are talking about, like their bond increasing, but it's funny because Ocelot is like talking with Venom Snake and is not interacting with Big
Right.
Boss really at all in this game, aside from like the true beginning / true ending. And it is really like his loyalty to Boss because he's just pretending, he's going along with it. I think that's cool. And that's an interesting way that like his character still is like a little ahead of the game, even more so than Miller. Like Miller didn't even know what was going on. That's someone, I don't know if we want to keep talking about Ocelot, but Miller is someone who I love his story in this. I love the revenge arc.
Love Miller. Oh yeah.
He's
I found
excellent.
Yeah. Like in any given wait, is that true? No, I think I found them both equally interesting whenever there was a cutscene, for sure. But like I thought Miller checked out fully. Like that was fucking awesome. You know, I don't know. I just felt like a weird. Just you are Ocelot. You just don't feel like Ocelot. At least to me, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'll mention this as a bridge between Ocelot and Miller, I guess, but both of them are fashionable as hell. I think they look fantastic.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Some great looks in this game.
I put for like until I got the stealth suit, I put on the Ocelot like scarf uniform that you can wear for a little bit at the beginning of the game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
I was rocking the scarf look for the majority of the game until I beat 31. After we rolled credits and we were in chapter 2, I was in sneaking suit. Like
Nice,
I am
yeah.
a changed. I'm a changed.
Was that the one with the penis on it? What was?
There's a penis on it. What?
Oh, okay, I'll look it up. Sorry,
What? For real?
It's a
Love
more of
to know
a.
what you're talking about.
It's called. I mean, I remember it being just called the sneaking suit. Like,
It was actually called the
Straight up.
penis suit, I think.
There was literally something called.
No,
the
I'm
penis
sorry, I'm
suit?
fucking with you. I'll pull up the picture. But,
Oh wait, I think I see what you're talking about.
Christian, permission to put this on the feed.
How
It
actually?
does. It's not too
not-
explicit.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
a
go for it.
cartoon,
It's not,
the little Microsoft
yeah.
Paint. All right, thank you. You're too kind.
It's the red outline that you're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you should say. Yeah, I did not notice that. Oh, man,
Was
that's
this
funny.
the sneaking suit? I can't tell. Can you see it?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
funny.
Okay.
That's great.
That's it.
That's great.
Mhm.
Wow.
Oh man.
That's good
Also, I saw someone have a bandana in
Yep.
cutscenes that I
That's
saw.
sausage, bro.
I wish I got that bandana. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I
How
really
do
wish
you
I got
how do you
I
get that? I
forget.
forget. A lot of
Mm.
things in this game, like I just keep building and building and building stuff up, and then eventually stuff just happens, and it's like, oh, I can get the bandana now. Completely forgot how to do that.
Yeah, chat told me that like you can get it pretty early on, but I was never told how. But
Yeah, I'm
I
not
think
sure.
it's interesting you mentioned that, Jack, because like I feel like with the game like this, and you're making your own objectives and your own planning, and going back to that story discussion earlier, I think the big moments definitely come across as like, oh, that just happened, I guess. which is also a problem I think people have with like Breath of the Wild, where it's like you have this big world open. Oh, I guess here's a story bit, or oh, I'm just going to do the ending of the game really quick, and it doesn't feel like it's um, really like a pivotal directed story sequence like any of the earlier Metal Gear games.
Right.
I don't know, Christian, you played Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm talking about with like terms of like the open world and like how to make the missions directed in a way that feel like it's still part of the greater story.
Sure,
Like-
yeah. I think with the comparison, though, like with Metal Gear Solid 5, I do think the mission structure gives it opportunity to deal with that better than Breath of the Wild, but I still think Breath of the Wild deals with its story rollout better. Because I think, especially with the true ending here, it's like very obscure, and Breath of the Wild's like along your journey you will come across these things, absolutely, and if you're following the main course you will have these moments of story stuff, and you will have more if you seek out like what happened in the past. So that, I think, is what happened in the past. I don't think is as essential to what's actually happening in that world the way that here, like, the true ending is kind of essential to knowing the entire point of the game, you know? Like, I think it's unfortunate that with a clear structure, like a more set structure mission-wise with this game, it isn't able to exceed that type of storytelling where Breath of the Wild does.
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel
I think.
You go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go for it, Omar.
I was gonna say, I think open world games also always like kind of always, even if they're mission based, have an agency problem like this. Like, even going back to like Yakuza, like, oh, the main story is like going crazy right now, but then you get a break and it's like, oh, help this lady with her cat or something.
Yeah.
Like, when everything is so urgent, you can just still do side stuff, and it kind of makes the pacing of the main story kind of hard, I think. But yeah, Jack, sorry.
Yeah. Well, like, I think it's an interesting comparison because I feel like the open world for Breath of the Wild is like more on display than it is here. But also, I feel like they give a good sense, like, once you exit the Great Plateau, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Once you exit that, you know, like, there are, like, what the divine beasts that you could go after, or you could do anything else that you want. But there is, like, you understand that the divine beasts are, like, the main meat and potatoes of the game. But dropping into any mission in Metal Gear Solid 5, you could be assassinating someone and just getting out of there, or you could be like killing all of your like squad mates on Mother Base, and you just wouldn't know until you get in there. So like it is weird because the story of this game is just rebuilding Mother Base, and it's very much centered on the gameplay aspects of this game. And it's kind of weird, like, when you do get the story bits, it's like, oh, I kind of forgot there's a story to this game. So it is a little strange. Like, the story just comes in and out every now and then, and it's not paced very well, in my opinion. But, like, it's not like a huge gripe for me because the gameplay is just like far and above best.
Yeah.
That's where I fall in the game. I always have, and I still do. Like, the gameplay is great. The actual moment to moment of actually thinking about what I'm doing in game is great. And then when it gets to the story elements, like, there's some cutscenes and sequences that I enjoy, but it just does not feel cohesive at all. It feels like it's a slice of life sort of thing across like just 80 hours. Like, it's very weird. It's very, very strange. And I think it is probably Konami's fault, because Omar, you said this earlier. I do think the pacing in Chapter 1 is better, because you're building up to that confrontation with Skullface and Sahelanthropus, right? But even then, I still think it could have been better. You know, like Peace Walker exists, and that story I think is handled really well. But
Well,
go ahead.
yeah. Well, I don't know when you want to talk about the Konami stuff, because like I feel like, you know, they did release the game unfinished or like early. They did make changes.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about like how much more time did they need to actually make this the Metal Gear game that everyone would have been happy with? I don't know. Like,
it's a long time.
It's a long time, right? Like, we've known leaks about Act 3, Chapter 3.
Yeah, it was
I don't think
chapter.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been the answer we were all looking for, right? Like, you know, did they probably scrap together the true ending because they had to put it out faster? Probably. But, like, I don't know. I'm not going to cap for Konami. Sorry.
Were you gonna say something, Kevin?
Yeah, like there's a few times towards the, I think, end of chapter 1 and maybe sprinkled around chapter 2 where you get the Peace Walker like freeze frame and says continued in the next mission or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of wish we got a little bit of that where it's like when you're on a given mission, we'll say, I don't know, 80% of it is the gameplay, you doing what you have to do, right? And then the end bit is a little story that leads you into the mission, you know, like just a little, you know, scene and whatever that I think can better facilitate the story like more frequently, as opposed to it being kind of just like over comms, like Miller will and like that happens in Peace Walker, but it's supplemented by the cutscene that you just saw, right? And like it kind of leads you in a better way. I think this game would have, I think, been better for a little bit more of that, right? And that definitely, like, I kept thinking in this game, you know, are its downfalls, and like I can't know this for sure, right? Like, are its downfalls because of a Kojima decision or a Konami decision, right? And like, definitely, at least from what you guys have told me, kind of like the end of chapter 1, because like it just ends in chapter 1 and it's fucking weird. Like it's just like, oh, okay, we're just done. Like that doesn't seem like a Kojima type of narrative. I feel like we had maybe another like 20 hours of stuff be like, that's what it seems like. We're like it feels like we had like a whole nother section to really build before we get to Skullface and all that, but then we kind of just do, and it's not as satisfying for sure. But I think having the like continued mission stuff, I think would have helped a lot with it. But yeah, but like I do know that we just didn't get the full Kojima vision of a Metal Gear Solid 5, you know. So
I feel like Death Stranding has some of these same problems.
Yeah.
And I think that one doesn't have the whole Konami thing.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to think back to how much story was in.
It's very
There's
sporadic.
a lot at the back end.
I know
it's
I know it's a lot at once sometimes in Death Stranding. Like I know you kind of get a lot of it, but I still feel like while I was playing Death Stranding, and I could probably recount to you like a lot of the story of Death Stranding, and I could probably make it make sense, right? With MGS5, we're rebuilding Mother Base. We're seeking revenge on XOF and Skullface, right? Who we believe did that to Mother Base and everything. And like, I can't tell you a lot about, you know, who. Oh well, I mean, we know who Mr.
Face
Flame On.
Oh, Vulcan.
Flame On guy. Yeah, Vulcan. Which that
Flame
shit
On.
put me back. Yeah. I called him Flame On and Psycho Mantis Jr. Lo and behold.
Nah.
That one's
I was more so talking about like the Death Stranding like pacing stuff, rather than the story specifically.
I agree. Death Stranding has long stretches of just like, hey, do this thing until we give you another cutscene. Like I can see, I think it's both their faults. I think it's Kojima and Konami, where Kojima had a vision that was going to take way too long, and Konami was like, no, finish. And then he's like, well, shit, okay. I think that's probably what happened, and I don't think we'll ever get the full story, because I think it's going to make both parties look bad, but I think that's the situation here, based off of the way this game exists, and Omar as well, what you're bringing up with Death Stranding. Like,
yeah,
I don't think it's a bad way of dealing out a story. It's just so different from what we all have loved about Metal Gear, and then we see this and the way it all goes. Like, I remember when I first played it, I thought the Skullface Jeep thing was like cool as hell, and I still think it's very funny, and I kind of love it, but it's just kind of like a way to encapsulate this entire game, where it's like, okay, things are happening right now. It's explaining why things are happening, and then they're over. Like, that's kind of what this game's story is.
Couldn't you see that Skullface Jeep ride though as like in Kojima's head, thinking that was cool as fuck?
Yeah,
like,
and that's why I kind of love it, because I'm like, I get it. I see what you thought this was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I remember being in the moment, like guys, like I feel like this should be dope. But
yeah,
it's
I was
just
in your
not.
chat when that happened,
Yeah.
Kevin. I was like,
Yeah,
yep,
I was
yep.
like, oh, I wish this was fire, but like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
It's interesting. I feel like it probably, when you talk about reactive stuff, I think it is probably a reaction to Metal Gear Solid 4, right?
Yeah.
This and Death Stranding, it's like a shift for Kojima's storytelling, I think. And maybe he'll nail it in the next one. I don't know, but it is interesting. Like
in some ways, like the lack of story is kind of good in this.
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
As you know, out there, and replaying Metal Gear Solid 4, I love the game, but man, they really try to push a lot of stuff down your throat. It's not good, and this is very story light, and in some ways that's bad because it's not the Metal Gear that we all love, but in some ways it lets the gameplay really shine through in like a lot of excellent ways. And I feel like more so than like Konami having its mitts on this game, I feel like it is structural. The problem is mostly structural in terms of like how the game presents the story. And even though like this doesn't have a lot of story, I feel like in some ways it's a good thing, just because we didn't get the crazy nonsense that we have gotten before. But in some ways that was delightful, like in Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that, and it is kind of sad. But we did avoid the somewhat nonsense of Metal Gear Solid 4 in a way. So good and bad.
You know what we could have had, I think, in this game that would have fixed a lot of the problems that we're having with the story?
the codec. Is
Codec calls.
Yeah.
I really think codec could have helped this story immensely. And I know we do have like the iDroid and the comms and everything, but like genuinely, if it truly was budgetary, that's what the codec exists for. That's why it was a limitation of the PS1 hardware. They couldn't have all of these cutscenes. So it's like, okay, we'll do the codec, and that's like literally 2D animation and text. Like, I think that would have helped a lot of gaps that feel very present. Like, imagine like if that Skullface sequence was a codec call of like Skullface hacking into your thing when you were trying to do something else. I think there's already more tension there than this awkward camera tracking shot. Like, I know the codec was kind of useless in 4, but I truly think a codec in this game would have helped a lot.
I think the codec is so good in Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But like, if you put it in this one, could you imagine like them getting Kiefer Sutherland to talk as much as Snake or Raiden did? Because I feel like part of the codec is what makes it so good is how much they like talk in it, like the protagonist. But the fact, it's not even Kiefer Sutherland's fault, or even if it's like his budget thing, it's like I think Kojima straight up like didn't want his main characters to talk as much later on.
Yeah.
Like we see it in Death Stranding guy too, but like I feel like the codec calls wouldn't be as interesting if they did it now, unless they just did what we want and just have the character talk a lot, which I miss.
Yeah, because I think this is a surprising amount of Kiefer dialogue than what my memory had, right? But like, I think in some cases you could have just done that through a codec and gave him like 3 more lines for a single conversation and have the rest of that carried by whoever he's with. Because I think so much of Metal Gear Solid 1, why the codec works, is that Snake is questioning a lot, and a lot of people are like throwing things at him, where it kind of happens that way here, but it just feels very messy and unregulated, I guess. Like, I don't know. I think a codec would have streamlined the elements of the story to make the payoffs actually genuinely feel like they were payoffs, personally. Especially if it was a budget thing. Like, you need Kiefer to say like why a couple times, and you can just loop that every time and then just fill out the rest.
Why? Like
I don't know.
like the iDroid sound when it
That's good. I liked the like this time around the truck of the truck scene where Skullface gets in and then Snake gets behind him. I was thinking immediately like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode where they're doing like the therapy really close up, and he's like, "Is your knee going here or is my knee going here?"
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did
it's weird.
Sorry, go ahead.
That was, I just wanted to comment.
Did Kiefer Sutherland make it up to you guys? Who got convinced? Anyone love him more this game?
I think he's good.
I mean, I like him.
Yeah.
I liked him in Ground Zeroes, and I like
yeah,
You did?
yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Overall, yeah. that was good. I do dream of like a David Hayter MGS5 because like fuck, I just
Well,
miss David Hayter's. I just miss that voice. But no, I really, and what makes it hurt is that Peace Walker was right before the change, you know, and that was like probably my favorite sounding Big Boss / Snake
yeah.
I've probably heard.
It's
What if Ishmael was voiced by David Hayter in this?
yeah.
I would have cried.
No,
That would've been
that's
pretty cool.
exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, I
Yeah,
really
that
wish
would've
they
been
could have just like hashed it out for just
Just do
like
that.
Ground Zeroes and Ishmael in this game is David Hayter, because then narratively it makes sense. And I know
Would
it
they
kind
have
of
given it away though? Like,
Well, no, I mean
Kiefer's
wouldn't
voice
it
is
have
two
to-
characters, so like, did it give it
I
away?
know,
Yeah.
but like, would that have been too far? I feel like it's a very careful line that they managed to not
No,
fuck
'cause
up.
I think they already pissed people off with it. It just would have been the same reaction. It would just be like, you recast it for the big game. What the hell? I think that
Yeah,
probably
just
would've
everyone's
been
being curious about it like the whole game. Yeah.
Yeah. I really thought if they made another Metal Gear, it would have been Kiefer Sutherland as this role and David Hayter as Snake. Like if they went to do Metal Gear 1 and they did the reboot. I really thought like that was like the whole reason why that happened. It ended up just being that Kojima just did not like David Hayter like
Yeah.
at all, which is sad. But I really thought there was like a grand conspiracy that David Hayter would come back as Snake in like the reboot, and David Hayter would be just Big Boss or Venom Snake, which I thought would have been cool, but
Yeah.
I guess not.
I should mention when we were talking about the hype cycle for this game, people were convinced David Hayter was in this one also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
can't remember, but like, he was just dodging. He was saying no to everyone on Twitter, but still everyone was like, he's got to be in it. He's got to be in it.
Well, Omar, remember, I think you might have said this on one of the episodes we've done, but didn't you say that, like, because, like, fans were trying to get him to record all the Kiefer lines on his cameo to, like, mod
think
into
so.
the game?
I
Fuck
think they've at
yeah.
least talked about it before.
Yeah.
Hell
All
yeah.
10
It's
lines.
very funny. Yeah.
So, yeah, the story of this game clearly isn't the highlight. I guess, do we want to talk about, just in general, the stuff with the virus, the parasite, just like how that's...
Can I talk about Kiefer really quick once more?
Yeah, go for it.
Before? I think he does do a really great job in this. Where like I think the Ishmael stuff is tremendous,
Yeah.
and I think that ending cutscene where he's like, "This is what happened," right? Like he sounds like I think earlier you mentioned like you asked me, maybe the Metal Gear Solid 3 if I ever liked Big Boss or ever thought he did a cool thing. I think he does a cool thing in this game with the
Yeah.
whole twist stuff. I think it's neat. I think he sounds evil in that last call.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. The virus.
Is it... I remember at one point when that was first revealed in my initial playthrough, I was like, is that why Snake's not talking? It's like, oh, is it just
Right.
a slow build and he knows? But no. I think...
Well, is it Wolbachia? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good pull. Kevin, I remember in like episode 2 of this entire thing for MGS1, I'm pretty sure you said like Metal Gear toes a line between being stupid and very cool.
Yeah, it's always like almost stupid. It's just almost there.
I kind of think the language thing is like, I kind of love it, but it's also it's the stupidest plot device I think the
Absolutely.
series has had.
Yeah,
I love it, but it's like, I love it because it's so stupid.
It's just like they gave me a lot of information about it,
Yeah.
but I still really can't quite put it together. So it's like a virus that is tied to a specific language,
Yep.
right? So, and there's multiple variants of this virus, right?
Yep.
Like you can have an English variant or whatever variants, etc. And it's the moment when you speak that language that coincides with the virus is when bad shit
Get
happens. to you.
infected, like the
Yeah,
infection
you get
starts. Yeah.
infected, and
Like-
yeah.
The whole, we're gonna eradicate the English language from the world, and then the only language will be war. Like, I conceptually, I love that, but it's so stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
This is-
Omar, how do you feel about it?
Skullface's whole evil backstory is like cultural erasure, right? Like,
Yeah,
Essentially, yeah.
I think it's fucking cool, honestly. Like, and then he's this mad about it, which is kind of awesome. I think. It definitely is stupid with the whole like mechanics of the vocal cord parasites. I think.
Yes.
But I think as a villain, I think it's like
No,
man,
conceptually, I really love it. I think it's incredible. It's so dumb, but so perfect for this franchise. And I do think part of it is like the whole Zero involvement with XOF and all that. Like, it's like okay, I guess we're trying. Like, especially at post 4 when we talked about that entire like there should have been a game for all of this stuff. Like the whole
And all the tapes.
Exactly, like Zero in the background, like. It just that makes me sad because I do think there is a world where we did get a prequel game about actual Big Boss and that conflict with Zero after 3 and after all this stuff, and then it's like sort of thrown out there through the actions of Skullface and XOF and yeah, Jack.
I think
or go ahead, Omar.
I think that like you should. It's easy to be upset about that, but we have to consider that. If Kojima didn't want to do it, he probably didn't have anything for it. Like, I think what we got here is the best he could come up with, and the answers we would have got if it was something like that probably wouldn't have been as interesting.
Sure.
I think.
There are some wild tapes that you can listen to.
Yeah.
That are just insane, which I think are cool, but also don't put good story in cassette tapes. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But
he just played BioShock. He thought it was sick.
Yeah, I do like the gameplay mechanics of the vocal cord outbreak on Mother Base, where you have to isolate it and go through. Especially when I was at a point where I had like 800 people, and I was like, ugh, okay. So I just quarantined like a lot of people who had I think it was Kakongo. Was that the language? Could be wrong. But I thought that was cool. It was very much a Metal Gear thing where it's like, I guess I'm sifting through some menus for a while. Did appreciate that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, like
I just do the whole medical staff. I'm like, they're going like if they're sick, they're going to you. So at least that's something that okay, you definitely have been exposed. So let's just dump the whole medical staff and we'll just go from there. That's essentially what I did. Like, yeah, I did not figure out what was what, and like I don't think that's the intent. Like I don't think you're supposed to really figure it out.
You can figure it out.
Miller. Really?
Yeah, they have like, hey, these are the people we know have symptoms, and then you can like change the view of the iDroid to see like what is like in common between them, and it's all because they speak the same language. And then you isolate anyone who speaks that language into the quarantine, and that's like how you figure it out. I didn't know that the first time around, but I tried to figure it out this time.
Yeah, I did not get that MO. Did not.
So, I guess it is a game called Metal Gear. Thoughts on the philanthropist? I have a big problem with this thing, but I don't know what you guys.
Is it the fact it's so cool, but it's from the 80s? Or like it's cooler than Metal Gear Rex, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, there's like
it's giant, it's more effective, it's more powerful, it's fast, and then Rex is this little dinky little walking thing that they're acting like it's the first thing that's ever been created. Like
it's very stupid.
Does Rex have Sahelanthropus's head? Because it looks very
That's
similar.
what I thought. That's what I thought. I'm like, oh, that's Rex's head. That's
even like
what I thought. Yeah,
the radar dish is the same. Like, did Eli just go with Sahelanthropus and be like, I guess I'll build Rex from this? Because it very much seems like that's a possibility.
That's 100% what I picked up too. Yeah,
I think that's a story, but it's also weird because like didn't Otacon in like 1 say he like built it? Like it's an odd like it's a prequel issue. It's like I don't know what happened. Just made it kind of messy.
And everything with Huey, like I still don't like Huey.
Yeah.
Like
he's the worst.
We gonna get to Huey. Trust that. We gonna get to Huey. I love the initial like battle where you're not meant to battle it. You're supposed to just run. Like I love that whole thing. I loved being chased by Sahelanthropus. The end boss fight, I really liked it. I wish there was more of that in this game. You know, like I almost wish there was more of like the Peace Walker where you're battling like a bunch of different like even if they're not Metal Gears, just like big mechs that you're hitting certain weak points and all that. I think like with this game's gunplay and the amount of just weapons that you can develop and use.
Yeah.
I think it would have been awesome to have more like big scale like boss battles like that within this game too.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was still great to have it at the end with Sahelanthropist and like going in like with chat. I was like, guys, look, I play Peace Walker. I bet I'm gonna figure this out like first try. I bet it's gonna be no sweat. It was no sweat. Good stuff.
Sure.
Good stuff.
I like the name Sahelanthropist a lot.
Me too.
I think that's fun.
Yeah.
So
It's cool.
You got Ray, you got Rex, and then you got Sahelanthropist.
Yeah.
It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, I think the disappointing aspect of everything that we keep coming back to is like, hey, there's this part of it that reminds me of Metal Gear, and I wish there was more of that in the game. And that we've come back to that multiple times, and I think the more we talk about other aspects of this game, like Eli, or any, like, that is a key. That is your key to setting up Metal Gear Solid 1. And we don't get enough of it, right? Like, there's that. There's what, Omar, you were saying about potentially Chapter 3. This is speculative, but maybe probably would have been some sort of lead-in directly to Metal Gear 1. Like, timeline-wise, it makes enough sense that would happen. And it's like, oh, cool. I wish there was more of that. There's hints of that in here. There's the timeline at the end, but I think that is this game's existence as a Metal Gear game. It's like, oh yeah, there's that one part that reminds me of what I love about the series, and then plays really cool. But
would you just rather the hints weren't there? Because I feel like the hints that are here like aren't really appealing in the same way they weren't in Metal Gear Solid 3. They're more like kind of annoying. Like, okay, I see this is part of a larger story that I've played already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I kind of find it hard to care about the specific stuff laying out the rest of the story.
With the exception, I think, of Eli, yes. I think Eli is used really well in the game, and headcanon-wise, I think it's easy to fill in the gaps of like how Eli trained with Big Boss and then eventually became Liquid Snake. Like, that, I think, is a really good use of this, of little connecting the dots, sprinkling Easter eggs like that. But so much of the other stuff that, yeah, I kind of think it would have been better to just like do a hard cut of like, I know you have to kind of look for it, but like anything with Zero, I don't think we really needed to talk about. Like,
yeah,
Cypher
Zero fucking sucks.
Yeah, man. Like,
yeah,
go ahead. I have nothing.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like the Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 story, I think, are really tremendous, and then everything else is like this big puzzle piece that Kojima never really figured out a satisfying way to put together, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
is it a good thing that now he never has to try to again? Now like,
I think so.
He just can't?
I think so. I mean, I wonder if, like, 5 is in a way like him trying to not make a Metal Gear game at Konami, but put Metal Gear on the title. I don't know. I will say, though, I do feel like people like to say, like, it's a good game, but it's not a good Metal Gear game. I feel like it's a very Metal Gear game. Aside, like, obviously the story is definitely, like, not what they were in the previous entries, but it almost is like when Kojima was thinking about, like, making Metal Gear MSX, like, in the bathroom or whatever, like, it feels like this was 30 years later, like, almost this was his plan realized. Like, this is that open world gameplay that we could only have dreamed of.
Sure. In
terms of tactics and stealth. I think it's really neat in that way. But definitely the story stuff from the Solid games is not present, but
yeah,
I really like what it became.
It does feel like the ultimate like achievement for Kojima to be like, this is what I wanted. Like you get the seeds of that like throughout the series, and then like in 4, you definitely like I didn't realize how like influential 4 was in terms of gameplay for 5.
Yeah.
And then we finally got there with Ground Zeroes and 5, obviously. But like at the same time, I feel like, for me at least, this somewhat like supersedes the series as a whole. Like just in terms of gameplay, like this is a great Metal Gear Solid game, but this is like an amazing video game. Beyond that, like that's kind of how I view it. Like when we get down to the rankings in terms of like group rankings, I have an idea where this places. For me personally, I know where this is, but like in terms of like the group rankings, I kind of have a feeling of where I think it should be.
Sure.
But yeah.
I will say I think it's unfortunate because of all the Konami stuff where the Fox engine is so good, right? And like this game plays so well, and just the idea of what Ground Zeroes is, what these individual open world areas are like, you do imagine that based off of the track record since 2, like learning from the previous game, if there ever was a Metal Gear Solid 6 that was going to be a Kojima-led remake of Metal Gear, it would have taken the lessons of this game and the things that didn't work and refine it to a point where it is more of that Breath of the Wild, maybe open air, like, hey, this is the entirety of Outer Heaven and the surrounding area of the story context of Metal Gear 1. You are Solid Snake. This is your mission, OSP, go at it. And I think that could have been like the crowning jewel, potentially, based off of what this game does so well. And then when you get to the Konami Fallout and everything, and like, oh, he's stripped of a Hideo Kojima game and all that stuff, it's like, it is unfortunate. That's why I think at this point in time, as far as the future of the series goes, this is why I've settled on wanting a remake of Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, because I think you have that potential of getting a new creative in to sort of know what the fans love about this game and the series as a whole, and maybe complete the loop fully. But like, I think Omar, Jack, you're right about like, this was him trying his best to like just put an end cap on it. It's just that was cut short, and that's, I think, the thing that falters the most and makes the story feel weaker. That tracks.
I just don't think like I see it definitely would be more of it, but I feel like it wouldn't like be all that much more satisfying like this years later. Like it'd be cool, but I don't think it would have changed the game
for
by that much.
For 5,
from what we
or-
know about it, for 5,
Yeah.
like I think it's definitely unfortunate, but like I don't know. I'm not gonna say Konami was right, but I do know I feel like we never want the full Kojima.
Right.
I feel like we probably never want the full unedited Kojima.
Because I think specifically the thing that I think is maybe in line with the way I'm thinking about the way this game wrapped up is because the ending is literally playing the very long intro again of like, there has to have been at least a script for a genuine ending that was more than just suffer this again and then here's the twist. Surprise. Like, I really believe that Kojima, even though sometimes he doesn't hit, I think some of it, like whatever was written originally for a closing the gap, this is the final thing I have to say on the series, would have probably elevated the rest of the story of this game. Because I think we all agree that like most of the story stuff, it's in line with the series. It's just executed kind of piss poor in a lot of places because of the way that exists.
See, I think it's hard to say because like it really is an unfortunate situation where we just don't know like what would have happened or what it could have been. Like it's probably best not to stress on it, but like I feel like I see a world where Kojima thinks that like, all right, I'm gonna show him the ending of the game and I'm gonna show him why it was so crazy at the end. I think that could have been such a Kojima thing. I think that like I feel like he could have thought that was amazing, like because he's always like trying to go. I feel like you always see him becoming more and more like with his cutscene and story stuff. He's leaning more and more closer to film. Yeah. And like I feel like it's like he just tried to Nolan some shit here. Like
yeah, I
don't know.
I do think it's funny. I kind of intentionally decided on this after I put it on, but I am wearing my Snyder Cut t-shirt today, so
oh sweet.
Thought that was a little funny, but
release the Kojima. Yeah. Did you see that he hates the name director's cut?
Yeah.
Or okay, cool.
Metal Gear Solid 5 Director's Plus.
Yeah, we were talking you guys were talking about the Fox engine stuff. I should mention this game was 1080p 60 on base PS4. No open world game did that. It was pretty impressive. And then also like PT was on that same engine. And there's a Kojima tweet where he was like, "I tried to make it look crappy like indie games," like, which I thought was really funny.
Is that fuel for abandoned, Kevin?
Yes, it is indeed. Okay. It is indeed. Also, there's more stuff about Abandon that I figured out and /know from this weekend that I continue to remain skeptical. I mean, not saying either way. I'm not saying either way, but I am
Sure.
skeptical. But yeah, no, I mean, in terms of like, I think there is something about like this game's gameplay like being what I think he was really trying to do with Metal Gear Solid 3, right? And I think it just did not work. But like here it works and then some, right? But I do feel you all on like how the story I think definitely is the the story delivery, right? Is I think the most un-Metal Gear thing about this Metal Gear Solid game.
Sure.
I think like looking and stepping back on it, I think it's the way the story is delivered and the pace of it, I think, is definitely does not feel like Metal Gear, right? But I think the story itself is definitely Metal Gear. The gameplay itself, I think, is super Metal Gear. In like the best way possible for sure. Like, you know, when I was crouching and figure out, okay, how do I know where this blueprint is? You know, let me just ask someone, right? Get him in the stranglehold, whatever. Just like leading, like the actual moment to moment in a gameplay mission is like some of the best Metal Gear I've experienced personally. But definitely, like I think above all else, like I think it's the way the story is delivered. I think is definitely what falls here. But then there's moments you think about, like we brought up a little bit that introduction to Quiet.
Yeah.
I think that was like such a Kojima moment. Like fuck yes,
Quiet,
yeah, like,
Quiet as a
let's
whole
do it.
is very
Huh?
Metal Gear and very Kojima.
Yeah. Like I
Worst
just think
ways possible.
Yeah.
yeah, in best and worst, which we definitely get. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like just that intro to Quiet at least was awesome. Like I fucking loved it. I loved it.
Can you run that
And,
through
like,
us? Like, how does that go again? It's like,
well,
sorry to interrupt. Like,
no, yeah, for sure. Because I think it's different because it seems like something that will be different for everyone, right? At least me, I was heading up to go save Huey. I was aiming towards an important side op mission that leads into a main mission, but I was trying to get to Huey. I get to the area where the Quiet sniper battle happens, and all of a sudden I just get shot, right? And then fades to black. Mission 11 or whatever it was, whatever. I'm like, oh shit! Like number one, my intent was to complete. No, it was mission 12. I'm like, I was on my way to mission 11, but then it jumped to 12, and you're just doing this sniper battle. And like by the way Miller was talking, I think. Oh no, or was it Revolver Ocelot? I forgot which one. But I was told like I think I could have just evaded the situation and not battled her yet. I think that's what you could have done, but I was like, nah, let me just take her out and like let's see what happens, whatever. So you do like maybe 3 different phases where she kind of goes around the play area. And then you can either kill her or extract her. Can you actually kill Quiet there?
yeah,
Think so.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
So what happens like with the like she's just
out.
not there?
She's out.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
fucking bold. Wow. That is damn.
But like
I did not think because I thought like I thought
Mhm.
either way she would still be a part of this, be taken somehow, and like someone stopped Snake from killing her or whatever. I don't know, you know. But I'm
That's-
shocked that you can actually kill her. Damn.
That's such a great moment, I think.
Yeah.
Like that the title card for Mission 12 coming up or whatever is incredible. And maybe when Christian, you were talking about the mission format, like maybe if they played with this stuff more,
Yeah.
that could have probably been the way to deliver the story. Because
Sure.
my God, that's such a
Right.
good ass moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah. No. Quiet sucks. Yeah. Quiet.
she doesn't suck. She breathes
doesn't
through her
suck.
skin.
I mean-
You don't get it.
You know, it's like okay, like all right, like yeah,
She has to. You don't want her to live. You want her to die.
She just so happens she must be naked
You
at
saw
all
her
times
injury.
to live.
You saw her
Yeah,
injury
you're
at the
right.
end of the game.
Absolutely.
Vital.
Absolutely.
Vital to this character.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Genuinely though,
Absolutely.
I think Quiet is like the best companion because she's got a gun. You know, like D Dog is nice, and like D Horse I think is useless once you get the vehicles, but
Yeah.
Quiet is very helpful I think because for like spotting and everything. Like she's very good.
I'll tell you guys something. I
So-
always brought in D Horse.
I
Like,
love.
whoa.
Thank you. I fucking
Yeah,
love D-Horse.
I
Listen,
always pride in D-Horse. Yeah.
D-Horse. I just feel like in world, I would want to pay homage, if you will, to the boss. Right.
Sure.
I'm still
Fair.
holding on to some veins. Like,
Sure.
I feel like I would be riding a horse if I was Big Boss. Right.
Did
But
you
you're not
customize
Big
his
Boss.
coat to white?
But you're right. I'm not. You're right. That's a solid point.
Sorry.
Mine was
I
white.
did put on the armor on the homie. Also shout out to D-Dog. D-Dog doesn't listen. D-Dog is good, but then he gets exceptional when he can automatically tag enemies as you're getting closer. That I found to be very helpful in a lot of different ways. So shout out to D-Dog. Quiet, I also like. Quiet was like my third favorite, I think, to be honest.
You know, the
But-
worst one?
D Walker.
Fucking
The fucking
Yeah.
D-Walker. Yeah, I never used that joint. I'm like, nah, bro. You're
Just
like
the
kind
worst.
of. No, I'm like, nah. No, he was too much. D Walker was too much. It was too extra. You know.
Isn't that thing in
not-
Death
D-Dog.
Stranding now?
Yeah. Right.
It'd be great in Death Stranding.
I think it's in the director's cut. I think that's a carryover.
Wait, is it literally? Like
Yeah, that
D
thing that
Walker?
carries
Like,
you in the cargo. It's got legs.
is
When
it
do you think
called
Konami
D-Walker?
sues him? When is it going to happen?
It should have happened already, honestly.
There are straight up geckos in Death Stranding.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned like 80% of my enjoyment with this game, but it leads into D Walker too. Sorry, D Horse. But like, I fucking love the soundtrack. This game is my GTA Vice City, I think. Like, I was just listening to those tapes over and over again. Like, I listened to Gloria like 800 times. I had the list here, but like, it starts with that Midge cover of that David Bowie song.
Yeah.
That ended up being better than the Bowie
No,
song itself,
yeah,
I think.
mhm.
But man, I'll have to pull up the list. I didn't have it.
What
But-
was your helicopter theme? Did you guys ever set one?
I think Take On Me. I could not.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
No.
Awesome.
Occasionally it would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Maneater by Hall & Oates. That was one of mine for a while.
Yeah. Friday I'm in Love,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah, that was on there too.
This soundtrack is so good, guys. Oh my god. I literally just like would listen to those tapes over and over again, like the same ones. Like it's only like 8 or 10 songs, but just frequently.
I mean, in addition to that, too, just like the original soundtrack for the game is very good. Like
Yeah.
the menu theme, like when you're picking up like what you want to do, and like it kicks
Mhm.
into like the not Metal Gear sounding Metal Gear theme, right? Like when you were taking too long.
This was not Harry Greg Williamson, whatever his name is. This
Right.
was not that guy. It was like Ludwig Fossil, the guy who did the Death Stranding soundtrack.
Oh, I'm not familiar, but
Yeah.
yeah, like that's really great. And then I think they got Donna Burke for another vocal track, right? Like
Yeah, she does the one, right? The
Yeah.
whoa ho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Sweet.
great. That's
And
very good.
She did that at the Game Awards too with Kiefer Sutherland in the audience, right? I think.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Wait,
really?
Remind me, which she
Think
did
so.
Metal Gear
You should
Solid
find it.
3.
Fucking awesome. That's
Yeah,
fucking
she
awesome.
did. She did Snake Eater, and I think she also did. I can't say goodbye to yesterday. I think she did like a lot of the vocal tracks for the entire series.
You know what else she voices? The iDroid.
Oh, really?
No
Yeah,
way.
she got all the voices on the iDroid.
That's cool.
Which is sweet.
That's lit.
Yeah, Ludwig Forsell.
Cool.
Looking at him, but yeah, he does a great job.
Well, I mean, there's other stuff in the story we didn't touch on, but like a lot of it's inconsequential. Like, I
don't remember shit about it, to be
don't.
honest.
Like Code Talker is an interesting character.
Code Talker!
Right? Like, because that's like rooted in an actual thing that the U.S. did in the 20th century of like hiring Native Americans to work with them, and like it still feels weird when Kojima's writing stuff like that. I just don't think he fully nails it in a great way, but his use in the story of like being able to navigate the parasite is interesting, and that's really it. That was the only other thing I had in my head on the story that we didn't bring up, but
I really liked extracting him, right? In that house.
Yeah.
Like that house.
dude,
is
the
beautiful.
house is like maybe my
Yeah.
favorite location in the game. It's so
Right.
good.
That mansion is like, oh, you gotta be fucking prepared. 'Cause
Yeah.
that bit is hard as fuck. Like, that is such a hard area to navigate. Yeah, I love the mansion. Yeah,
I really wish the game had more interiors, like, because I think that makes some of the mechanics really, really highlighted. in a way that, Kevin, you compared it earlier to Snake Eater, and I think you're absolutely right. This is probably the vision he had for it, because so much of it is just the wilderness. But like, I think it's the interiors are some of my favorite moments for sure. Even like some of the bases, like when you extract Miller, great moment too. But that's like kind of an interior, but yeah.
Oh, one of a great surprise that I did not know about. I'm really happy I did not know about this. I did I did a side off, rescue the VIP. No idea it was Kojima. That was a great little surprise. Yeah, that was a fucking great.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What did he say? What took you so long? No, he says, right? Yeah.
I think
it's what he says. He says the same line as Miller, I think. Or something like that, but that was fucking awesome. That was awesome.
I think I brought it up, but he's also in a side op for Ground Zeroes as like a special intel operative or something. Like I extracted him as a side op when we played through Ground Zeroes, but it's fun that he's in there.
Yeah, and he was in Peace Walker too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you're like, there was a part where like right before Huey's like pushed down the stairs, you were like searching in the beds of trucks, and there was one specific truck where you could search, and Snake would come in and be like, "Mr. Kojima," and then
are you serious?
Kojima was just there. Yeah, it was really funny.
What the fuck? That's fucking awesome. Yeah.
So
that was a great surprise. That was a great moment. Great moment.
There was a point I was gonna make about something, but I lost it, so it probably wasn't that important. But anyway,
did we talk about like the zombies? What's up with those?
Yeah, that was fucking random as fuck.
Yeah. Did they just show up once, or did they show up a few times?
Does that team
There's a couple.
Perhaps accidentally, or
the
like
skulls.
The skulls, yeah.
Yeah, the skulls. Like, what do you think of them, Jack? Did they make it that much more dynamic, or the combat, or anything like that, or like?
My least favorite mission is like right after Kotaker, and it's like, oh great, I guess I have to shoot up these bullet sponges for forever. It's not. I liked the skull sniper battle like right before the Kotaker base. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, and you can just entirely skip that if you want, or
really?
You can just go right past him, right through the woods.
I don't know.
Which I think is cool. But I like the sniper battle. Did not like the forced chases throughout the game or the air base sponge fest. Not a fan.
Yeah, that one didn't like. There was one mission where you have to recover a vehicle, and they spawn.
Oh yeah.
That one I think was like the really bad one. I'm like, well, shit, like, damn. Cannot handle these guys right now.
Yeah, I think the issue again, I think it's an instant, because those kind of remind me of, I won't get too deep into the comparison for the sake of spoilers, but the skulls remind me of the BTs early in Death Stranding, where like, I think the BTs were a refined idea of this, of like they're an obstacle, kind of the way that Resident Evil zombies are, where it's like you're not meant to kill them, like you will have a better, easier time if you just stun them and move. Like you want to keep moving. Here, I almost never directly interacted with them. They just felt like more of an annoyance than anything. So yeah, and I guess like the skulls are this game's version of the B&B unit or the Cobra. Like this is their attempt at having again a Metal Gear thing and like trying to like lean into it, because like they just have no character to them at all. Or maybe more the frogs, but I don't know.
I think there was that trailer. Right? I don't think, Kevin, have you seen that trailer? The big 9-minute trailer, or have you been? Okay,
you should watch it.
That trailer is incredible, but it really does make the game look so much more like a standard Metal Gear game.
Okay.
Like, and like if you can imagine like all the cool moments in this game, they're all in that trailer, like cut into it or something.
Yeah.
But I think before the game came out, we thought the B&B unit in this game was going to be like Eli, Quiet, Kotaker, and maybe we thought Ocelot too. I can't remember. There was definitely,
I think it was
those guys.
Flame On.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. That trailer made them look like, oh fuck yeah, we're gonna fight these 4 guys. But
yeah, damn, I guess we didn't have like.
Yeah, we don't.
enemy unit. Yeah, I totally didn't. Holy shit! Yeah, that,
I mean,
that totally just.
we don't really in Peace Walker either, but like
Oh yeah, true.
it's still weird, you know. But I think
Yeah.
that's the legacy of this game. Like,
But
go ahead.
sorry, to be fair, like I think we were pretty cool on it on 3 and 4, right? On the squad.
Oh yeah, no,
mates
I'm
and
not
the
saying I
others.
wanted one. I'm saying that
Yeah.
this was like a weird sort of like leftover thing that like I don't know. It was a strange thing that stood out to me. But as far as everything else goes, is there anything left unsaid about Metal Gear Solid 5 before we rank it individually and as a group?
I got one. I was vocally a fan of Huey and Peace Walker, right?
Right.
Gentlemen, I have now entered the same echelon. I did not like Huey in this game.
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
For a few,
Yeah.
but like I don't know. So I think what I really want to know is that do we know if Huey is actually lying?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, he seemed very like, "Yo, I'm fucking not lying," but he does get caught in a lot of lies.
What
Like
scene is
straight
it?
up.
When he gets put on the boat, right?
When he gets
Uh-huh.
put on the boat and like that whole thing, and like when they're laying out like, "Yo, like you're a fucking liar," right?
Right.
And we do have the tape where, what's her name in the AI pod? When I saw the AI pod in MGS5, I almost fucking fainted. I'm gonna just say that I fucking love
Yeah.
I love that concept. Yeah, like I know in that tape with Strange Love, that's her name. When Huey locks in Strange Love and like kills her and all that. So that's like a straight up thing that he did, right? So, but that's really all that's there, even though like he's so persistent on like
Well,
saying that he's not lying, right? Like,
the reason that happened, like why he locked her and killed her, was because he used he used Hal as like a test subject for Sahelanthropus, and Dr. Strangelove, who's Hal's mother, was like, maybe
right.
don't use our child for that, and he
Yeah.
was like, and then she shipped him off to I think the United States, and he was upset about that and killed her, and he is just after that point he's just a pathological liar because he doesn't want to
Okay.
admit that that was the case.
Okay.
So he's so ardent and adamant that he didn't do that he just straight up lies and like creates his own mental reality in that he himself is the good guy and like Snake and everyone else is bad. And like I feel like he also feels guilty because of the his like involvement in Mother Base being destroyed, that he just like doesn't want to accept like his responsibility in like anything that he's done that has been bad, so he just
Yeah.
chooses to create this false reality.
Right. So like in conclusion, like Huey just fucking sucks. Like
Yeah.
he's just
He's
okay.
awful.
And
Yeah. Alright.
truly, I don't understand the purpose of Huey in this game at all. Like, he just feels like filler. Like, I feel like he could have cut his entire arc and presence in this game, and I don't think it would have been worse. Like, it seems like he's here just to have an
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, like I thought they were gonna do more with him, but like we like did get like a decent amount of Huey, but like I thought it was gonna be something different. I don't know. Like I thought it was gonna be like so far as like, oh, like Huey's the one that is talking to me on my iDroid instead of that random girl, right?
Right.
When I went and saved Huey, like I thought it was gonna like mean something more, but it ended up just not
Yeah.
being more, or just being in the ways that I personally wanted to, I guess. But
Sure.
yeah, like definitely I liked him in Peace Walker. I did not like him here. Nah. Just,
I think you're not supposed to like him as a character purposely, because Hal is definitely like the antithesis of Huey,
Mhm.
and he has really like, I feel like Huey's supposed to represent Huey himself, but also like the lineage of Otacon's family of being just bad people.
Yeah.
And Hal is like the first one to break away from that after building Metal Gear and like devotes himself to that. So I do appreciate how they did show that Huey was bad and the lineage was not good. But I guess we kind of already understood that. But I think if he showed up in this game, how he turned out that way.
I think like we mentioned it during Metal Gear Solid 1. I feel like, when we get that like Otacon backstory about like, oh, his whole family is like this, and it's like, all right, that's kind of crazy. But I believe you, I guess. I feel like we never needed to actually know like or see
Yeah.
more of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just this backstory that we didn't need to really get fleshed out.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And I the last thing about just the whole big boss arc, right? I think Huey's a part of this as well. Is like, it's weird because you're definitely not supposed to like Huey, and I can never tell if they want us to like Big Boss. Like, I can never tell if we want to be rooting for him because I don't know what Kojima's trying to say outside of the fact that he wanted to make a game in the 80s with Snake that like, we're playing as Big Boss, we're doing a goal which we believe in this story is the right thing to do because we're opposing Skullface, but then I don't feel like there's ever a natural shift. And I think, Jack, you were talking about this at the beginning, like, we're the bad guys, right, for the majority of this series, but then it's just a matter of perspective, I guess, because in 4 it's like, oh, well, technically the Patriots are the bad ones, and then yes, Big Boss got a little confused along the way, but he was truly fighting for the freedom of people. Like, I never know. I don't know what he's trying to say. I don't think maybe he's trying to say anything, but it's just, it reminded me of that when we brought up Huey. So.
I think, like, in hindsight, I started to enjoy Metal Gear Solid 3's approach to Big Boss a little more, where it's like, he's just kind of a regular guy, just doing regular stuff. Then something fucked up happens, and he needs to then handle it, but you don't see it in game.
Yeah.
And then I like imagining how that goes in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But playing this or seeing some of Peace Walker, like, it seems like you don't really see that evolution, or you don't really know what's happened. Like,
Sure.
it just kind of, yeah, I feel like we never get closer to the goal.
Yeah. So, with that, though, I think we should probably rank this thing individually and as a group. So, for the group rankings, I'll read through those first, just to keep them in mind as we're doing our individual rankings. But
I have so many cards. I don't know which one's which. I don't know where it is.
Also,
okay, here it is.
I would like to just bring up an avenue. Do we want to put Ground Zeroes in the overall group ranking with the hindsight of having played Phantom Pain? Because I remember we were split before Phantom Pain, but panel, do we want Ground Zeroes to be its own individual ranking? Divorced from Phantom Pain? Because I still think yes.
I still think no.
I'll go with you on this, Christian.
Kevin,
Fuck these guys.
What do you think, Kevin?
I don't know.
No, okay,
I still think
fine.
no. I mean, but like, it's split, so.
I mean, if it's split, we'll just keep it together because it is technically not technically the same game. But okay,
We put
fine.
Ground Zeroes in a Metal Gear Solid 5. My 5 ranking goes down 5 points. That's how this goes. That's how this
So,
goes.
like, I 100% see the merit in doing that.
Okay.
But I really do believe that Ground Zeroes is mostly a prologue for Metal Gear Solid 5.
That's
Just
how
like-
I view it. Yeah, 100%.
Metal Gear Solid 5
2
Light.
different characters.
Different
Even
characters, fundamentally different game design, fundamentally different
Interiors.
purposes. Like,
Is it?
Good pacing.
it is
Ground
actually.
Zero.
It's a focused environment with one goal, and you
No.
can't
Yeah, but it's
play in that
it's like-
playground.
It's like a mission. It's like a mission in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah,
That's how
I
I view it.
view, yeah,
and
I
it doesn't
view-
get lost in itself. Maybe.
It's mission 0 of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Literally, I view Ground Zeroes like a mansion mission, where it's like, yes, this designated area is the mansion, and like I'm doing this one thing.
But we
I
got
felt
side
like
quests.
we were just.
The Ground Zero has side quests. Does the mansion have side quests? No.
I mean, I could do a side op over there if I want to. You know what I'm saying? But, you know.
Can you rescue Kojima and do like 3 other different things? Can you go through
I mean-
Metal Gear Solid 1
Is
flashbacks?
Kojima not in Ground Zeroes? I really thought he was.
No, he is.
He is.
Okay. Oh,
I
right,
think
right.
Christian said that, yeah.
Yeah, no. I think I got confused.
But
Um,
fine. I'm fine. Just know my personal ranking. I will have
I mean,
Ground Zeroes
how about-
individually.
We can all meet in the middle. You know, both sides of the alley, if you will, right? Why
Cypher's
don't
take.
Christian and Omar just state where they would put their Ground Zeroes?
I would love to see where it ends up. hypothetically, and
Grand
then
Zeroes?
we can.
Yeah.
All right.
We
Okay.
All right.
we
So
have alternate timeline. You know?
the current group ranking as of June 3rd is the last time we altered this. Fifth place is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Fourth place is Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Third place is Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. Second place is Metal Gear Solid. First place is Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. So, individual rankings first. Jack, would you like to go first?
Yes, I've changed my list since June 3rd. Had some character growth, character changes, maybe character regression.
Do you remember what it was before you changed it?
Yeah, I've switched 1 and 4.
Okay.
That's the easiest way
Cool.
to think about this. But
Okay.
with Metal Gear Solid 5 involved, I have 7 on the docket right now, including Ground Zeroes. So number 7 would be Metal Gear Solid 3. Number 6 would be Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Number 5, I've also changed Ground Zeroes. Number 5 would be Ground Zeroes. Number 4 would be Metal Gear Solid 4. Number 3 would be Metal Gear Solid 1. Number 2 would be Metal Gear Solid 2. And number 1 would be Metal Gear Solid 5.
Very nice. Omar, do you have yours ready?
Yeah. Can I just spit it from my head?
Go for it.
All right. We got Metal Gear Solid 2 at the top. Metal Gear Solid 1. Metal Gear Solid 5. Are we ranking 2 separately or no? The Ground Zeroes or?
Jack just did. I'm going to. You can too.
Okay. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes. I guess we don't really need to rank them in hindsight. Then after that is 3 and then 4. I didn't rank Peace Walker because I didn't want to play it, but to be honest, that means it's 0 for me. It's bad, but that's fine. I don't mean that honestly.
Fair.
But did you get that all, Christian?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Kevin, I'd like to save you for last since you are the flower here. This is your final petal to be dropped.
Indeed.
And then we got just a big firework next week. But for me, currently, 7th place, I did rank Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain separately. 7th place is Metal Gear Solid 3. 6th place is MGS4. 5th place is Peace Walker. 4th place is Ground Zeroes. 3rd place is Phantom Pain. 2nd place is Metal Gear Solid. And then 1 is Metal Gear Solid 2. Kevin, when you're ready.
I have a lot of revisions. I forgot to rank MGS2. Look at that.
It was at the top of your mind because that's where it stays.
I will say,
All the
well,
time.
Kevin, if you're filling time, I will say I've been trying to sort through my own top whatever. Metal Gear Solid 1 is still higher in my favorite games of all time than 2, but I think 2 is probably a better game and is more impressive with what it does, but I still love 1 more, I think.
I don't see why you don't just put 1 above 2 then if you think it's that much cooler.
Because I know it is it is very, very, because I think 2, genuinely the stuff it does better makes it warranted being number 1.
Sure,
Okay.
but what does your heart say? I don't see why you don't rank it. With
I mean,
the heart.
I think my heart says that 2 is still the best, but I still love 1 more. Kevin, go for
This
I
this
feel like
list
this is your list. It is
Yeah.
semantics. I'm sorry, I don't understand it.
this is a very personal corazon list right here. This is 100% honest. This list has changed so much from when we first started to where we are now. So let's just do it. Top to bottom, number 1, Metal Gear Solid 5. It was fucking fantastic. I love the game. Yes, it has downfalls in the story, but I fucking loved it. I adored this game. It's easily in my top 10 of all time. I'm not sure where in that top 10, right? Maybe we can even break it down to a top 5. I don't know, but it is in my greatest games of all time. Absolutely.
It was top 5 on the JoyClicks Once in a Generation list for best
That's
games of
it.
the gen.
It what guys?
Oh yeah, baby.
I think it was number
Great.
5.
Great.
Yep.
Great job.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
It's in my personal top 10. It's number 7. I just looked at it.
Nice.
Is it above or below Apex Legends?
Above Apex Legends.
Let's fucking
Above
go.
1 above Grand Theft Auto 4. 1 below Fallout New Vegas.
Bet.
Yeah.
So that's where it is.
Nice.
Number 2. I loved Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, so that one has to be number 2. Like,
Nice.
I know that's a real controversial out there pick, but Peace Walker, I fucking loved Peace Walker. I loved Peace Walker. Goddamn. So shout out to Peace Walker. And then in hindsight, really stepping back, looking at it all, we got to go from the beginning. Metal Gear Solid 1 has to take that 3rd spot. You know, like I really talked a lot of shit.
You did.
About that first game. I know I did. I want to go back and replay it, to be honest. Like,
I think you should go back and rewatch our episodes.
Yeah, I know, because like I know I was thinking very, yeah, I was 4 isn't a very interesting spot. 4 ended up very interesting, but yeah, MGS1's fucking awesome. You know, yeah. Number 4, Metal Gear Solid 2. I gotta give it up. You know, that was probably like the most like, wow, like what the hell did I just play? You know, some real like game defining shit. So that was that. And then I'll make a last minute change. Fuck it. Am I? You know what? Yeah, fuck it. So in the new 1, 2, 3, in the number 5 spot, the Metal Gear Solid 4. I thought we had some real good shit in there. I liked it. The ending definitely does stumble and fall, but I still think it's overall a good game. Good game.
That was your number 1 pick when we did that podcast.
It was.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of things have happened. A lot of things have happened. You know, I just got to really show respect for 1 and 2, for sure. Right. And like Peace Walker, I genuinely just fucking loved. So right. we got to really do that.
Kevin, if memory serves, didn't you follow a similar arc with your feelings on the Last Jedi? Or sorry, not the Last Jedi, the Rise of Skywalker. I remember you were hot on it at first, and then I think in time you've.
I was never hot on Rise of Skywalker.
Well, maybe you just liked it more than I did. I think that might be what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I definitely liked it more than you. Yes.
At first, yeah.
I definitely liked it more than you did. Yes.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to echo.
I'm still not even like, no. Please check me. Absolutely. Yeah. So was 1, 2, 3,
I think you're at 6.
Now we're at number 6. If we gotta rank Ground Zeroes, it's Ground Zeroes and then MGS3. That last. Yeah. So that's how we gotta do it. Now, MGS3 does not get redeemed at all. No, sir.
So now we face the group list. As a reminder, the top 3, because I think there's no way it's below 3. The top 3 is MGS2 at number 1. Number 2 is Metal Gear Solid 1, and then 3 is number 4. At the very least, it is 3.
I'd like to make a case.
Jack, fucking do it, King.
For the number 2 spot. For the number 2 spot.
Really? Okay, so you're
not going.
Sure, you can try number 1. I won't get mad.
Before we do this, I just want to say I had a change of heart. I will, on my personal ranking, have Metal Gear 1 above 2.
Let's go.
It's just I it's the same thing with Batman Begins. It's the same thing.
I was gonna say it's your Batman Begins. Dark
I know
Knight.
it is. I know. I have to just be true to myself. It's number 1. 2 is fucking amazing though. So anyway, sorry. Continue, Jack. Make your case.
Omar, I'm sorry.
I think Metal Gear Solid.
Sorry.
I think Metal Gear Solid 2 deserves to be the number 1 spot as we have it now, because I think it does have really good gameplay that obviously hasn't aged incredibly well. It's still like good and feels good to play, but just not as good obviously as future games. But I think the story of that game is incredible and still is like the best Metal Gear story in my opinion. But I really feel like Metal Gear Solid 5 makes the great case for being like a upper echelon Metal Gear and just has the best gameplay of all time for a third-person action game. And I really do feel like what Omar was saying, like this is like the ultimate vision for Kojima in terms of gameplay. And I feel like he nailed it on that aspect. So I feel like it should be number 2, in my personal opinion.
My only question to that case: how much do you, Jack Martin, value the story of Metal Gear as a pillar of Metal Gear? Like, is the story not like hugely integral to this entire franchise? Is like as a defining trait?
Yes,
okay,
it is. But I think the gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 5 completely and totally outplays any Metal Gear in this list. I feel like and even beyond, like I said, I feel like it supersedes the series. It is like has some of the best gameplay ever, and it's still good. This game is from 2015. How old was I? I don't know, 18 when this game came out. I am no longer 18. I'm a little older, and this game's still fucking awesome in terms of playing it. It's just I feel like it has aged very well, surprisingly, in the past few years. Yeah, man. I feel like it still will age well. Like, we're on the PS5 generation, and this game still feels incredible. So yeah, that's my case.
Kevin, you are the other person who has it at number 1. How do you feel about number 2? Like, where would you ideally place it in the ranking?
Listen, gentlemen. Listen. Omar. Look. MGS2 is great. Right? It's fucking great. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna stop you
But
right
guys,
here. Before you
guys,
continue,
but
before you
guys,
continue,
what if?
don't apologize to me. All right.
What if we fuck around and just put MGS5 at number 1? Like, what if? That's all I'm like.
I think you're fucking crazy.
What
Yeah.
if though? I
Kick
what
this guy from the call.
Listen, here's what I mean. The problem is that MGS5 story, right, is so down here, but its gameplay is up here. It's a matter of extremes, right? But MGS2 story is at the extreme level, right, of good, but its gameplay is not down here. That's just not true. You know, it's like over here. So even when you average it out, 2 has a fight up against MGS5 for sure. So I'm not saying it's number 1, but fuck.
I feel like you guys are underselling how well 2 plays. 2 plays very well.
Yeah,
like,
2
I
plays
have
great.
Zero issue with the way 2 controls at all. I think that is perfect for that type of game.
2 feels great, but like, does it feel MGS5 great? Like, are we really gonna?
It's a
sit
different
here?
genre,
Need
though.
to like.
No, I mean, like, I understand.
I'm not saying that.
Like,
I'm not saying that 5 is above 2. I think it's right below 2.
I know, Jack. What I'm saying is that I don't like. I think for the type of perspective that Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 have, 2 plays flawlessly. I think there is zero issue with the way that game controls. The cartwheel section on the bridge, sure, that was annoying, but other than that, I truly like. They shoot for something with the story in 2. I think that is like, look at Metal Gear Solid 1. In the early years of this franchise, in the defining years of this franchise, the story is the reason Metal Gear Solid 1 permeated the way it did. And I don't think the best playing game in the world, I think, could dethrone 2, which is a perfect, like, redefining meta level commentary of the original game. Like, I don't think 2 can be undone. And I know Jack agrees here for the group ranking at least, but
Kevin, I'll go with you. I think we should put 5 at 1. I think it'd be fine.
no.
Okay.
I feel similarly about 1, not as far as controls go, but I do think 1.
How do we feel about doing 2, 1, 5?
Perfect.
I think
That would be
where
ideal
it's gonna
for me.
end up.
That would be ideal for me.
Like,
That's where I ranked it.
That was my knee jerk, but then I'm like, man, I really loved MGS5. Also, Peace Walker being down there, it fucking kind of hurts, but it's okay.
Okay, maybe we'll
That's
come
where
back in a
their
month.
heads. That's where their heads were already at. We need to get them up.
Hear me out on this
They
one.
already started at 3.
Listen.
We need to get them to 2.
You're right.
Hear me out on this
Guys.
one.
What's up?
If we ranked Ground
Like, I'm with you. Let's
Zeroes,
fucking go.
if we ranked Ground Zeroes amongst these games, as we should, I would consider putting Ground Zeroes in the group ranking above 1 at number 2. Because I think...
You're fucking insane.
No, listen
You're
to me.
fucking insane.
Listen to me, no. Because I think 5, the way we're talking about how Phantom Pain is his original vision, I think Ground Zeroes is what his vision for 1 would have been if it was able to be made in this modern day. It's just the story isn't as weird. I genuinely think Ground Zeroes has the vibes of 1 in terms of being focused tight, does not trip over itself. It is almost flawless. There's very few things wrong with that game that are not written in the script. And I think I personally agree with what Jack and Kevin are saying of 5 plays incredibly well, and that's worthy of ranking. And I think Ground Zeroes, I don't have any complaints except for pause in that game. Where 5, I think, bungles so much of its narrative that I don't feel I could put it above 1 in a Metal Gear series ranking. Ground Zeroes, I feel fine doing that because it does not bungle its story. It has it's a single mission, the way 1 is, just less details. I'm not crazy.
I
mean, I get what you're saying, but it's also only like an hour long.
It is a listen, I respect everyone's opinions here. I get it. Ground Zeroes is a singular MGS5 mission.
I wish there was a mission in Metal Gear Solid 5 as that.
Yeah.
I wish.
Same.
So you guys really don't think that there is another mission in MGS5
actually, you know what?
surpasses Ground Zeroes at all? We're really gonna sit here and say that. We're really.
No, listen to me. Ground Zeroes. No, listen. Ground Zeroes is the most Metal Gear Solid mission in the entire 5 package. I swear to God, I believe that. And before, in the past, I did have Ground Zeroes above Phantom Pain, and you know what? I'm fucking putting it back up again. Right now in my own ranking.
I think I agree with Omar and Christian in terms of it being the best Metal Gear Solid 5 mission, because it it is the most focused one because it had to make a case for being its own game. So yeah, it is the best Metal Gear Solid 5.
I was scared that you would call me a hack for putting Ground Zeroes above Phantom Pain, but truly I think it's a better Metal Gear Solid experience. I've always thought that, and I still believe it.
I will call y'all hacks right here. I don't understand how you play the entirety of MGS5.
Quality, not
and
I played Chapter 2. That's why it sucks.
So much of it. And we're really gonna sit here and call Ground Zeroes better than the entirety of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Kevin,
Metal Gear Solid 5's second chapter fucking sucks.
Listen,
did anyone say this yet?
Here's what I would put. I would put Ground Zeroes under Peace Walker.
Kevin, listen to me. Where would you rank The Last Jedi in Star Wars? It's clearly the best main movie in that entire saga, but where would you rank it as a Star Wars movie? Lower tier?
Lower tier, but not as bad as Episode 2.
Right. I'm saying
I put it above Episode 2.
Yeah. I'm saying
in
this
but
hypothetical
Left
scenario.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
In this hypothetical scenario, go ahead, Omar.
I was gonna say, are you comparing? I was gonna say Last Jedi is most similar to Metal Gear Solid 2, and just say that's why you need to be at the top.
Because I know how Kevin views The Last Jedi. I'm saying that because The Last Jedi, I think, in the continuity of that saga, is very similar to The Phantom Pain. Technically, excellent. Metal Gear, not really. I think, in terms of the core fundamentals of Metal Gear, I think is lacking hugely in one pillar, which makes it not top 3. Ground Zeroes has that tightness. It doesn't have time to mess anything up. I genuinely think it is a better Metal Gear Solid experience than Phantom Pain. Call me crazy, but I'm not moving on that.
There's more Metal Gear in Metal Gear Solid 5 than Star Wars and Last Jedi, and I'm going to stop that right there.
That is a cap.
That's what I'm going to say. I'm not capping. I speak truth. That's what it is. I'm sorry.
You don't feel like Canto Blight was the most Star Wars shit ever? Are you kidding?
I do like the concept of that planet. I do like the concept of that.
Yeah, I like the concept of Sahelanthropus, but guess what? It makes no fucking sense in the story.
I've never heard someone think Last Jedi wasn't very Star Wars, to be honest. Is that really a take?
Plenty of people think that, yeah.
Okay. They got fucking lightsabers and shit.
Okay.
Let's just put
I am actively strangling myself. I'm actively going to strangle myself.
I want to see someone dead tonight. Right.
I don't want to go down that road. But guys, Ground Zeroes was cool, but it's not fucking y'all talking it's the next coming of Jesus, and it's really not. I would say MGS1 is next coming of Jesus territory. MGS2 I would consider next coming of Jesus territory.
Jesus Christ.
I think the actual next coming of Jesus Christ is probably a Metal Gear Solid 5. But it has its problems. It definitely has its problems. Ground Zeroes is so short that it can't even make problems.
That's what's perfect about it.
But that's not
what?
like it does like just because like I think you guys like it because it's short, like to a certain degree, like that, like it's it's short, right? So its highlights shine brighter because it's a smaller package. You get what I'm saying?
Save the energy. We're not even ranking Ground Zeroes. We're not even.
No, I'm suggesting
You're right. Fuck Ground Zero.
No, if you guys, I'm saying
if we're gonna rank it, it's under Peace Walker.
No, listen, I just think it's funny that for the group we're not ranking Ground Zeroes, but for everybody's own personal rankings we rank Ground Zeroes. And I'm saying if you want Ground Zeroes at number 2, sorry, if you want 5 at number 2, it is through Ground Zeroes.
Listen, I think that Metal Gear Solid 5 in the group ranking should be under 1. I think I would love for it to be number 2, but it is going up against Metal Gear Solid 1, and that is a tough fight that I don't even think I can internally really extrapolate. Even though I like 5 and Peace Walker more than MGS1 from a totality standpoint, really it's the gameplay that really brings it up for the personal ranking on 5 and Peace Walker on my personal list, right? But when we're looking at all from a group, Jack, I don't know if we're gonna win this battle of putting 5.
No, I backed away from this.
But
a long time ago. I backed away after I said number 2.
But I'm comfortable with 2, 1, 5, 4, Peace Walker. Ground Zeroes is, I guess, above Metal Gear Solid 3, because Metal Gear Solid 3 just has it's once again the song, the end fight, and the ladder, and that's it.
I tried to cut you guys a deal. I know 5 is your number 1 for both of you.
I have a solution for everyone that I think everyone will find most agreeable. You guys ready?
Yes.
Number 1, Metal Gear Solid 2. Number 2, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. Number 3, 1. Number 4, Phantom Pain.
That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
No. I'm just.
Let's get crazy, yo.
That's
I'm not gonna take that. I'm not gonna take that. I'm just.
But if you guys view Ground Zeroes as the same game as Phantom Pain, what is the negative there?
Yeah, why is it going so low? Why is it going so low?
It's like, yo, it's like 2 hours. Like what?
And
you know what I'm saying? Like
if you
like
separate it as a package,
yeah,
it's lower on my list because I don't think of it when I think of.
Forget about value.
Like, why?
I don't know, because we're just
no, but
I think we all bought that and made a decision paying for it back then.
Sure,
like, money isn't a concept anymore.
No, sure. Like as a package, I still think like even for $40, I loved it. I love Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. I think it's great. I think at one point I tried to argue it in our top 50 of.
Jack, I was a coward. I should have agreed with you.
So I was ahead of the curve. But like, I don't know. Like, I think putting Ground Zeroes above 1, I feel like it has an unfair advantage because it has no time to make mistakes. It is that's
what I'm trying to. Yes, thank you.
It's just like
I still see why it's a negative.
I think in terms of like its scenario, it is the best Metal Gear Solid scenario.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Sure. But we don't get like a full story with it. It is the lead up to Metal Gear Solid 5, and I feel like it is so connected to Metal Gear Solid 5.
I agree.
But I also think I feel like Metal Gear Solid 1 has just like incredible impact, obviously in terms of Metal Gear, but in terms of the greater gaming industry, where I think that deserves to be number 2 for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just not gonna sit here and really take Ground Zeroes overcoming anything beyond 3. I'm just not gonna like. It's like what Jack's. It's not a complete story. I view it more as literally because what it is a fucking prologue to Metal Gear Solid 5. And I'm not hating on Ground Zeroes in itself. I think it's a great experience, but it's just that an experience. It's not a really it's not a full cohesive front to back story.
You know what isn't also Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain out. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, and I know if we're not ranking it, but I absolutely think there's a cohesive narrative to what goes on in Ground Zeroes. Like, I don't see why, because I think the reason I'm trying to say there's an option where it could be there is because it represents the best of 5, It is incredibly tight. It feels like Metal Gear Solid, and I think it does stand on its own. You could play that, be like, hey, I played a Metal Gear Solid, it was this one, and I got a story out of it, I got characters, I understood things. There's a lot of value in there for replayability. It shows you the best elements of 5, and 5 does feel bloated, I think, in many ways, where this doesn't, and it represents why we love 5 and why we love Metal Gear, which is why I could put it there. In my personal ranking, it is 3, but yeah.
I have to be honest with you. I would feel more comfortable, and I'm not saying I want this. I'm saying as a deal maker here, I'd feel more comfortable 2-1 Ground Zeroes, Phantom Pain. I don't think
that's how I ranked it, Jack.
Let's go.
I think you guys were settled if we weren't doing Ground Zeroes that Peace Walker was going to be number 3. I think we all agreed at that point. Kevin was at 1. I think that's outlandish. I was at number 2, maybe also outlandish. I feel like it would be if I presented this to the greater gaming community and Ground Zeroes was above 1, I would feel embarrassed. I would feel embarrassed.
Yes.
I would not want to defend that.
Yeah, and
2-1 Ground Zeroes, and then Phantom Pain. If we want to do that, I don't want to put Ground Zeroes on this list. But if you want to do that, I feel like that's where it should be.
Jack,
nothing should be above 1 at this point.
I fully agree with you, Jack. I'm saying if we did want 5 represented on the list above in a second place position, I think it has to be the superior version of 5.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
How is Ground Zeroes better than MGS?
Phantom Pain's got problems, man. I don't know if we talked about them enough, but like it's got issues. Like not just about the story, but like it's got problems. Like, and I love that game. It's in my top 10, but like it's got issues.
Yeah.
Like the second act, we talked about that a little bit. Like the way the chapters get distributed. Like
that is not in contention.
No, I know.
I feel like the gameplay is and the tightness of it is definitely a strong suit for Ground Zeroes, but like it is Metal Gear Solid 5 Lite. You're missing all of the completion and all of the in terms of the like gameplay systems and stuff like that. That is really what makes Metal Gear Solid 5 great. Because Ground Zeroes is great in terms of like the tightness of like how the shooting mechanics work. Yeah. But it's building up Mother Base and it's having all these resources and it's like customizing everything. And that's what's great about Metal Gear Solid 5.
If you look at Ground Zeroes as a modern day interpretation of the original Metal Gear or Metal Gear Solid, I think it is the perfect version of that format outside of the story not being as wacky as I'd like. That's why I'm saying it stands alone that way.
Like, what's hilarious is that it's not an MGS1 remake. I understand that like there are the tools there that you could do it and you can play with your perspective all you want, but it's not an MGS1 remake.
It'd be worse if it was.
It is.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it's
a prologue to MGS5.
Right, but it's a standalone get in, get out mission the way MGS1 is. It's less extensive for sure, but you still have a concise objective, you have amazing mechanics, and you have interesting character moments, and you get in, get out in that 2-hour span, and I'm not saying it's a one-to-one recreation of Metal Gear Solid. I'm saying for what the purpose of Metal Gear Solid 1 is as a game, Ground Zeroes captures that the way Phantom Pain does not at all. So
I mean, I can think of a few character moments in Ground Zeroes, but I don't know why you're so hellbent on like these exorbitant masterpiece like character moments where I thought admittedly that pause reveal and the way that shot looked incredible. I'm with you, right? But like it's not like there were like a billion of them that we have to really rank it up here in the top echelon of like the Metal Gear Solid franchise as a whole. I just am not.
That's not what I'm saying.
I just don't.
I'm saying that the moments it does have within its time, within its runtime of its playtime, it's stronger pound for pound, I think, than the narrative stretched out across 50 hours of Phantom Pain that kind of loses itself a lot. And for me, I care more about Metal Gear as stealth, get out, character, story, and I think as a package it's more tight and more concise and better done with what I like about the rest of the series in Ground Zeroes than Phantom Pain.
I liked that. I personally got a lot of the feeling of Ground Zeroes sprinkled out a lot more in Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
But what did you do on the in between? You ran around.
I was doing stuff that I
people.
also enjoyed. I was over here organizing Mother Base.
Right.
I was over here developing stuff that was awesome. I was over here getting really cool side ops that it led to really cool stuff like finding Huey and other side ops that were like finding blueprints, you know, and learning more about the game. But like there was plenty of stuff that I loved to do in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Right. And that's an evolution of Peace Walker, where that's what that stage of the series is doing. And for me, Ground Zeroes echoes back to what I love about 1 and 2 more than what I ever liked about 3, Ground Zeroes, and Phantom Pain. That's my view on it.
I lump Ground Zeroes with Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, I think
either way, nothing should be above 1 at this point. That's my opinion.
There's no way I'm putting it above 1
and 2. Right?
Yes. I try to be cute. I try to be cute putting number 5 at the number 2 spot, and then I'm backing away. We got a little too cute.
Listen.
A little too cute.
Yeah. So are we ranking Ground Zeroes or not?
Let's do it at this point. I think we have to. I think we have to.
I almost don't want to because I feel like y'all gonna go crazy and put it in top 3, which is absurd.
Let's go crazy.
As of now, I would. Well, I have it below 4, but I guess I would. I would put it above 4 in this case.
You know what? If we're making deals, giving out olive branches, you know what? If y'all really,
we're not making deals.
Really want to put Ground Zeroes above Peace Walker, that's a sin that I can perhaps live with. It's wrong, but
Omar, are you on my side with this? I feel like you are. That's why I'm fighting this hard, but you haven't talked much.
I'm kind of just stirring shit, to be honest.
Okay.
Look, if Ground Zeroes is anywhere in anyone's minds above 4 or 5, I don't want it in the ranking.
Truthfully, I think Metal Gear Solid 5 has these RPG mechanics that I think outshine it from Ground Zeroes. Even though the game is a fucking mess, I just think the concept of being Big Boss and building that thing is fun.
It's a fucking beautiful mess, dude.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful mess.
To be honest, like I do think in terms of my time with Metal Gear Solid 5, like I look at it a little less fondly now because I think there's been other stuff that does it better. I always think about Breath of the Wild now as my open world exploration, doing my own task game now. That I'm okay with forgetting it and kind of putting Ground Zeroes over it in a way. But I don't know. I just need 2 at number 1. I need 1 at number 2. That's really it.
Yeah,
I agree with that last sentence wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So we can all get behind 2, 1, and then 3 at bottom, right?
We're representing the Metal Gear Solid franchise as Joy-Clicks right here. Can't mess with the number 1 and 2 spot.
No.
All right,
right.
Those
Can't do it.
Those are locked in. 2, 1 are locked in. No one's arguing that.
Right.
It's the middle where we get interesting.
If I'm the only person who 1 and 2 are at 1 and 2 for me, but if I'm the only person who has the 2 of those at the top, and then the third one is Ground Zeroes, if I'm the only person that would do that for the greater list, because that's, with the exception of 1 and 2 being swapped on my personal list, that's how it shakes out.
But I think you're making good points, man, that I would like to put Ground Zeroes way too high. Like, that's how I'm kind of looking at it.
I mean, that's how I did it before the replay of the entire series. I always preferred Ground Zeroes over Phantom Pain, and I thought I wouldn't feel that way on the replay, but I do, especially talking through it for the past 2 hours. So
I understand that take.
Yeah. If I'm alone with that take, I will.
I don't think that's ridiculous, but I would put Ground Zeroes. I have Ground Zeroes below 4. For me personally.
Okay.
Let's come back in a month, and Kevin's going to put Ground Zeroes at number 1.
Listen. completely respecting Christian as a person, right?
Yeah.
I think from a
he's about to disrespect you.
Yeah, I know.
From a personal
you're about to get hit with a huge
hell yeah, it's coming, bitch. From a personal bias standpoint, from a stylistic standpoint, absolutely, Christian. You do you, King. I get it. I just from a just objectively, I think it's absurd to put Ground Zeroes above MGS5. I just think that just does not compute.
You should have seen how crazy we thought you were when you put Metal Gear Solid 4 at number 1.
Yeah. I understand. I understand. I totally understand that. And Here it is.
Wow.
Where is it on my list? Yeah, it definitely dropped down a few pegs for sure.
Look at that.
Thoughts and feelings do breathe and evolve. Absolutely.
One last thing for the returning players. I have a question, and then I'll stop trying. Okay.
Yes.
How many times have you either hopped in or replayed after completion? How many times have you replayed Ground Zeroes versus how many times have you replayed the Phantom Pain? Because I'll tell you right now, I played Ground Zeroes like 10 times.
That's not even a fair question.
You
Why?
can't replay Metal Gear Solid.
You
5.
can't play Metal Gear. The Phantom Pain is like 50 hours long.
The save, you can't delete the
So-
save.
I had to transfer my save off of my device to
Yeah.
replay Metal Gear
But,
Solid.
No, that's like not
okay.
even-
Better
that's
question,
not even
maybe.
a fair answer.
Better
That's not
question.
even a fair
Better
question.
question, maybe. When you've wanted the 5 itch to be scratched, do you go into Phantom Pain or do you do Ground Zeroes? Because for me,
That was
it
a
is
take
Ground
on me on
Zeroes.
Spotify.
Oh. Genuinely though, I jump into 5 and
Yeah.
pick of the 50 missions available. Like that's my genuine answer. I love
Absolutely.
I love Ground Zeroes, but at the end of the day, there are only so many variations of that mission that you can play.
Right.
And like you could say the same thing about Metal Gear Solid 5, but there's also 50 missions you can choose from. And there's so many customizable options, and you can jump in and you could just blow everyone up with the tank if you wanted to, or you can jump in with quiet and go stealthy, or you could X, Y, and Z. That's why I jump into Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay.
I'm with you, Christian. I always jump into Ground Zeroes. Every time I upgraded my PC, I always put up Ground Zeroes again because, to be honest, 5 doesn't look as good as Ground Zeroes as well. Never looks as good. It's that short mission, get in, get out. It's got everything.
Yeah, it's a complete experience when you want to replay it.
Yeah, totally.
You know, not just a random side op or extraction mission.
not.
You know,
Wow.
but
Okay.
it's clear. I'm used to being on the outskirts sometimes. I'm
Solid
fine
Snake is in
conceding.
Ground Zeroes.
You're not wrong. So is Raiden.
Raiden is.
Absolutely.
Both of them are.
Wait, are they both not in there?
No, they.
Or just Raiden?
Polygon Snake is in Ground Zeroes, and
Okay.
Raiden
All right.
with the lightning is in Ground Zeroes. So,
Polygon Snake
Alright.
is also in Metal Gear Solid 5.
but
And so is Raiden.
They got me.
So it's clear. No one wants to be bold and.
Well,
I don't think. I think I'm with you, man. I'll do it.
let's do this mathematically. Like, let's go around and like, where would everyone put Ground Zeroes right now on the group ranking?
On a group ranking, okay. I would put it 3, and I'd put Phantom Pain at 4.
I would do the same.
Kevin.
2, 1, 4 for the top 3. Sorry, hold on, stop, full stop. I forgot to put it. Sorry.
Is it your personal
2
ranking? You put 2 at number 1?
No, sorry. For the
Okay.
I forgot to put 5. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, you just
2
forgot about 5.
It happens, you know, kind of
2,
forget again.
2,
Yeah, a little bit.
Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 5, Metal Gear Solid 4, Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes, and 3.
I would do 2, 1, 5, 4 Ground Zeroes, Peace Walker 3.
And that I can accept.
I don't know how the math checks out, but
I don't either.
I think we're tied.
Well, here,
Grandmaster. No.
if we rank, this is all I'm saying. The reason I brought up Ground Zeroes because I truly think it is a standalone.
I think that throws a wrench in this whole thing.
I know it does, but the reason, because the thing is, personally, I know 5 is 1 for both of you. So as a group ranking, I think the closest I would concede on that is if we split it up and it's the most Metal Gear aspect of the 5 package. That's why I would say that. And I think, yes, we've reached a point where I think nothing can be 1 or 2 besides 1 and 2, but some version of 5 is number 3 on the group ranking. That's complete. If we don't want to rank Ground Zeroes, which I understand, then it's the whole package, that's fine. But if it was my decision to put Ground Zeroes in the mix, on my personal ranking and in the group ranking, I would put it higher.
You know what's crazy, Christian? If you just lump in Ground Zeroes with 5, you would get it in that number 3 spot. You would get what you want if you just lump it in with MGS5, because it essentially is Metal Gear Solid 5.
But at that point,
Metal Gear Solid 1 is a 2 prologue. Are we just going to group those together too? Are you insane?
Come on.
Huh?
Are you crazy?
you can't have 2 without 1. That's a true fact.
Absolutely.
No, but I mean, guys, we're not gonna sit here and really
The
argue
arguments
that
at
Metal
this
Gear Solid
point are
1
getting
Come
crazy.
on, like Ground Zeroes is not a full game. Like, come on, guys.
I don't know. Metal Gear
It's
Solid
not a
2 was
full
3 years
game.
after 1.
All right,
That's
we're not
basically the same
Like, we're
time.
not gonna
Okay,
sit here.
Chris.
We're not gonna sit here and you guys are,
Oh.
come on. Metal Gear Solid 1, guys, we know what games are. Okay, like we know what games are. Okay, Ground Zeroes is not the same. Like
The same
Side
like this
of the
Journey,
full
one of the
game.
best games of all time.
That's but. God,
I'm not
like
capping.
you, oh my god, like bro, like Ground Zeroes is necessary for MGS5 in a different way than the sequel.
It isn't. It's a different
not a
character.
sequel.
Who cares? It's a whole different game. Big Boss
Five
is
is
doing cooler
three.
shit in the
Five
Metal
I'm
Gear
not
Solid
gonna
Real
say
5.
like we're not doing this. Like
I don't
I'm
want
not
to leave.
calling.
I enjoy
like-
the podcasting.
I'm
I
not
wanna
calling.
leave.
Listen, I'm not
like to leave,
I'm
dude.
not calling. I'm not calling like Iki Island, right? What we're gonna get next month, a separate experience.
Number
like,
one
separate
is
game.
Metal Gear Solid 2. Number 2 is Metal Gear Solid. Number 3 is Metal Gear Solid 5 in completion. 4 is 4. 5 is Peace Walker. 6 is the fucking Big Boss shit. The whatever it was.
Christian, you're a coward.
I,
It's all right.
I'm a good host. That's why.
You know what you could do, Christian?
Mhm.
You could put Ground Zeroes / Metal Gear
As long as it goes
Solid 5.
first, that's all I care about.
That I'm giving you the first. And
It
you
would
can-
alphabetically.
readers can
Take it.
interpret
Take it.
as
Take
as
it.
they
'Cause-
please.
Ground Zeroes happens first, sir.
I just woke up. I can be here all night. I'm ready to fight.
Oh shit.
Like I genuinely have no problem. Well, kind of, but like I see a case where Ground Zeroes is above 5, but I don't like in terms of the group ranking
Yeah.
objectively, but I don't see 5 like anything above. I don't see Ground Zeroes above 1. I think that's heresy.
Right. I was only doing that as an olive branch. I genuinely think 1 is superior in every way,
Yes.
but I think that about 5 as well. 1 and 2 are superior than 5 completely. So that's
I
it.
don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy.
I'm glad.
But I disagree.
There we go. So next week, or actually, I don't know when the next episode of this is, but the final chapter of Metal Gear Solid has not completed yet. We decided to do Rising or Vengeance last because
This is actually not Metal Gear Solid. This is the
Metal Gear
Rising
Rising,
Longplay
thank you.
club. Yes.
So, yeah, we decided to do that just because 5 is kind of a clusterfuck of an ending to leave off on, as you just saw. I think Rising or Vengeance is gonna be, it's gonna be more in line with the previous versions of Longplay, where we go across a standard game, not a
Will
mess.
it?
Hey, Rising is like 6 hours, and it's a story with cutscenes, and it's contained and tight and focused. I think it's gonna be in line with that.
Yeah, it should be awesome. I hope.
So, and I think Omar will be hosting that one. So,
Yeah, if you don't mind. Is that cool?
Indeed.
absolutely,
Yes.
I'm a
Please
platinum
do.
fan. All right, cool.
yeah. So look forward to that in the coming weeks. But until then, that has been the Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain Long Play Club.
Before we exit,
Yes.
can we just make sure we're all cool? Are we all cool, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Christian, I love and appreciate you, Christian. You know what I'm saying? Head out to
All right.
my fucking boys. You know what I'm saying?
So, you know, some
and Spider takes. You know
I understand sometimes it's not easy to go in with a hot take, but somebody has to at least lob it out there because
hey, I gotta
look at-
respect it.
we got Omar agreeing with me. We got Jack thinking I'm not crazy, so that's all that matters. But,
Yeah.
Listen.
High bar. You're not crazy.
Listen,
You're not mentally
a
unsound.
matter of respect has never been tarnished. I still respect Christian as much as I did half an hour ago. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that is the ranking of the series. We will be back. Until then, Jack, where can everybody find you?
Yes, you can follow me on Twitter at FascinatedJack. And then you can also follow Christian and my Marvel's Avengers podcast called Excelsior. The game is being revived beautifully. It's good, shaping up so nicely. It's really the only game you need to play. I've said it for months at this point. It's just the best game ever made.
Yes.
War for Wakanda is coming out. It's free. Genuinely, that's awesome. So if you like that game or you like the MCU, you can follow Excelsior on youtube.com/joyclicks or on podcast services of your choice.
Very nice. Omar, where can we all find you?
Yeah, I have a Twitter and a Twitch account. They're both Ohms the Chef. Right now, I'm playing through Persona 4 right now. If you want to catch any of that, I got 90 hours left to go.
Wait, So how many hours are you having?
I'm like 12 in right now, and I got
Okay.
another 90.
I'm in a similar
Yo.
time. Should I pick it up and just fucking?
Yeah, pick it up. I love
need
that
to-
game.
I need to do
Yeah.
it. You know what? Because you're doing it, I'm gonna do it. Fuck it.
You got Greg Miller taste, so I'm sure you'll love it.
Let's do it. I was enjoying when I played a bit for sure.
Yeah.
I just kind of just dipped out. You know.
Nice. You can find me Twitter, Twitch, TikTok at ShuntyD2 with all these terrible takes that you've come to love across the series. You can find them in those outlets, as well as here youtube.com/joyclicks for Gamescast with Kevin, Excelsior with Jack, Jedi Knights as well, and this show on the playlist on YouTube. We'll talk about the audio version afterwards. But Kevin, where can everybody find you?
Use.com as PlayStation Source. Twitter at PA Source Vids. On podcast services. Saves on podcast. Google Play podcast. Google Play, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that great stuff. And of course here on JoyClicks, you know, JoyClicks Gamescast. You know, me and Christian. You know, with his good takes.
We agree more than disagree, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I do like when we disagree.
No, it's
like
fun.
it.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it. As a little,
Listen-
you know what I'm saying?
Listening to you guys go out on the Gamescast sometimes is genuinely scary, and I
'Cause-
love it.
Sometimes I feel like we mirror like a Skip Bayless, you know, Shannon and Skip type of vibe.
Sure.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
when we disagree, it's a nice one.
Yes.
But yeah, shout out to that. Metal Gear Solid 5 is fucking awesome. Thoroughly enjoyed it. 10 out of 10 with flaws and all. It's a beautiful mess. It's what I'll say. Like in spite of its mess, it's still amazing.
Should I say one thing?
Yes.
Please.
So we have Metal Gear Solid 2 at the top, right? And we have Metal Gear Solid 1 right there. Those games are very similar to each other. But isn't Ground Zeroes probably much more similar to those two than Phantom Pain is? And if we put those two at the top,
Omar, that was my
I
whole
would-
argument and they didn't budge.
I know, I'm sorry, I just wanted to be an asshole for a quick second.
I don't want to
good
discuss
night.
this.
For the audio version of the show, you can check it out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your service of choice. Rating and reviewing is appreciated because the Long Play Club is going to continue. The playlist that you find of the Long Play Club will contain every game we go through, every one we've done so far. All the Metal Gears are on there. MGS5 will be on there, as will Revengeance and whatever comes next. So you can check that out. If you're subbed already to the podcast feed, don't gotta worry. If you are new, then that's how you can follow along and keep up to date. And if you want to get involved with the shows, you can go to patreon.com/joyclicks at the $1 and $5 tiers. $5 tier will give you producer credit on this show and every show we do, like Chris Akas, Aaron Easton, and Charles Applin. So thank you very much. And who wants to give their best Diamond Dogs I won't scatter your ashes quote? Who wants to do that?
Oof.
Give it to Kevin.
Kevin, go
what?
for it. You've been working on your Big Boss impression for a while now.
You started up front and you didn't like it. You got the redemption arc.
I wasn't prepared to do it today.
Sip that water.
Yeah, no.
Lubricate.
Take another one. Take another sip. They're ready.
I'm trying to think of a good like, and again, this is gonna go against like me thinking it's amazing. Like I'm trying to think of a good Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, one good line. Yeah,
24.
you can find
Jack
one, I'm sure.
Bauer.
One good one out of that 50-hour campaign.
Damn, fuck.
You have like 10 to choose from.
Yeah, he did not talk much. He did not talk much. All right. They won't go in the ocean. We'll scatter them across the battlefield. Diamond dogs. Diamonds everywhere.